Nope. Fuck. And we're back?
Hopefully.
Question mark? Sorry, y'all. This is a disaster.
I don't know what's going on. But we restarted the computer, and it's fine now.
The podcast version of this is going to be a mess. Okay, chapter 30. Darkness Unseen. Kaladin. Kaladin is now a much better leader. And the rest of the Bridge 4 people, having seen him do a kata in the chasm, have decided to do drills with him. And so Bridge 4 starts warming up, getting their day going, and people are laughing at him. And Gaz is kind of there being Gaz, being upset that it's happening. And there should not be a possible reason why it's a bad idea for them to do this, right?
Yeah, no, I can't see. I can't see a reason at all. It's a great idea. It's gonna go really, really well. We get a Gaz POV.
Yeah.
And Gaz is paranoid, and also is in the pocket of. No, he has to pay Lamaril because Lamaril is.
Yeah. What do you think he's being blackmailed with?
I freaking don't know. It could be anything. It could be like, I'm gonna make up a lie about you if you don't give me your money and listen to me. Like, I freaking.
Yeah, Sadius, man, I'm losing faith in him.
Yeah, no, I.
Well, but like, you know, like God or whoever is like, you gotta trust him. And I'm starting to think that person is leading Dalinar down the wrong path.
Yeah, right?
And only because of Sadius, right? Like, other than the Sadius of it all, I actually think that the advice that he's getting isn't the worst.
Yeah.
But then the Sadius of it is, I don't know, man. It's just nothing about what's going on in Sadius's army feels good.
No, the people, like, he doesn't know what he's doing. The people that he's employing are clearly, like, the worst. And are like, Bridgemen just are basically, like, human shields.
Well, and the book doesn't really do any favors to Sadius by making him seem good in any way. Yeah. Like, he's so kind of mustache twirly. Not as a villain, but, like, he's just a little... I would like to see Sadius get a little bit more dimension put into him than just being the worst version of Dalinar. Yeah. Because that just kind of seems like that's all he is. We haven't seen Sadius have anybody that he really cares about. He just seems selfish and greedy and bad. Yeah. And I would like to see him become a little bit more complicated before his inevitable betrayal. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Memonk says, I think they've won the most gem hearts. That doesn't win me over at all. I don't give a fuck about gem hearts. Like, that's not...
Yeah. I'm not interested.
if you have to employ people like Lammel and Gaz to win the most gem hearts, maybe it's not worth it.
No, I'm gonna say no. Anyways, so
also, hey, I'm the anti-capitalist person. So
what?
I'm not the. There are people who are much better at it than I am.
I am the.
I'm not Brendan Lee Mulligan, but.
Anyways, yeah. So Gaz and Lammel are plotting Kaladin's death.
Yes.
They're like, fuck that guy. He needs to die. But he has to do it on a bridge run, because otherwise it's weird.
But also, and this is where I got confused about the money system, because because Gaz is like, I desperately need the money that Kaladin is paying me in order to pay off my debts. But it's been like a week, maybe 2 weeks. So Kaladin has given him 2 pennies.
Yeah.
And he's like, how was Gaz getting by at all before? If a clear mark a week, or I think days here are 10 days a week, right? And he gets it 5. He gets a clear mark every 5 days. So 2 clear marks a week, if I'm right about the 10-day thing.
I think it's any little bit helps.
How is he so dependent on those 2 clear marks already? Like, how is he paying his debts before?
Murder. I don't know.
It seems like Kaladin's money is such an insignificant amount. If Kaladin was getting not like the smallest possible amount of currency every week, I would maybe understand it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it just seems like somebody who owes somebody thousands of dollars being like, but what am I going to do if that guy doesn't give me $1 every week? You know what I mean? It just, I don't really understand the scale of it.
Maybe he can like pay it off way faster, and he just wants to be out of the like shadow of it, and that's why he's so paranoid.
But how can it be way faster? It's such an insignificant amount of money.
But any amount faster is better to get out of debt, so that you're not accruing interest.
But it doesn't seem like it's about getting out faster. It seems like he is fucked. Right? Like it seems like the stakes are like almost life and death. Obviously,
no, because
they're not after this because Lammel gets killed. But
no, but he's like Gaz is like worried about Kaladin getting killed, but he's like there's nothing I can do because Lammel wants him dead, so it's like...
Maybe I'm wrong. It felt like Gaz, to me, was saying, like, I can't meet the payment I have to make every week, and the only thing that's keeping me going is the, like, at this point, 3 or 4 clear marks that Kaladin has given me, and it just... If this had been going on for like 4 months and he'd gotten used to a system that had been in place for a while, I think that I would understand it more. But it's literally just started and he's already completely reliant on Kaladin's money. And that just to me felt weird. That's all. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. And so they're going to kill him.
I mean, they're gonna make sure he dies somehow. I don't know what that plan is, but
it doesn't seem like there is a plan.
It
just seems like they're gonna hope that it happens on a bridge run.
Yeah.
By having Kaladin go on a bridge run.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so they so Kaladin and the team, they're doing runs. And they talk about how bridge runs have been getting good. They only lost 2 men on the last bridge run. And they have this idea for a side carry, which is bad. It's real bad.
Well, it's good for them.
Well...
They live.
Well...
Yeah.
Is it good for them? I don't know. It's bad. It goes so bad. Guys, we're going to get to it. It gets so bad.
Yeah.
But Gaz watches them practice this side carry, and Gaz is like, oh yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah, that's stupid. Do that.
Do that.
It's going to be great. And Kaladin's like, that's a little suspicious, but okay.
I just feel like... the problem I have with the side carry is the switching sides part. Right?
Huh?
Well, because they run like ba 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 ooh ba 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 ooh.
Oh, why would you do that?
That's
why not
what
just
they do.
let go and turn your body?
What? Because then you would turn around.
Yeah, if they're going like this and they have to keep the bridge on this way, then everybody lets go at the same time and you turn your body and not everyone's going this way now.
I don't understand how that would run. I don't understand what you mean. They have to move the bridge to the other side so that they can tilt it.
So if they're running with the bridge on this side, everybody goes, oh, and let's go, and they can all run this way now.
No. Because then you would run... Because the bridge isn't flat.
What do you mean it's not flat? It's a bridge.
The bridge is at an angle, right? So the bridge, when they're running it, right? So the enemy's that way. They have the bridge like this. Uh-huh. They run like this. Uh-huh. They bring it over to the other side so that they can run like this.
Okay.
But in the Switch, I feel like you'd be really exposed. Like I think that you would be even more exposed in the Switch than you are doing a normal bridge run.
Why? It's over your head in both scenarios.
It's over your head and...
Yeah, they run with the bridges like this.
I don't know. It just felt like if they could... They definitely switch sides.
I thought they zigzagged across the field.
Yeah, but if they zigzag and don't switch sides, then half the time they're fully exposed. Which means...
Oh, and that's why they bait some of the arrows, that then they turn...
Oh, they're zagging... I thought they were literally throwing the bridge to the other side and like doing like a... Okay, I visualized this so wrong. That makes so much more sense. They're exposed while the bows are reloading. Okay,
I think my idea is way better.
I drastically misunderstood what was going on here because I thought they were literally like da 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 what da 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 da, and I was like, when you guys it like, and maybe the Parshendi just aren't paying attention to what's going on directly in front of them. But I feel like you could take this bridge out. I know, but like just have like 5 archers who are like really good aimers. Tell them you don't have to shoot with the volleys, and you would pick these guys off. You just need like a Legolas or 2.
They've never seen it before.
I know, figure it out.
On the battlefield?
Yes.
No,
that is how battlefields work.
That's never gonna
happen.
You
gotta think on the fly.
No, nah.
Nah, you gotta put that work in.
You're putting way too much credit onto these people who have been fighting the same fight for 6 years. Like, I don't know. I think my idea is better, to be honest.
Your idea doesn't actually make any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
You would just run backwards.
What do you mean run backwards?
If you turn around, unless you're saying you are running the bridge flat at them.
Why would you run flat at them? They're like zigzagging, and then they like, you switch, and then you whoop. It's like this kind of shape instead of a direct zigzag. Because
you would slow down so much by having to pivot the back, and also you would pivot the back into the other bridges.
What do you mean they're not running side by side.
Yeah, they are. They have to line up.
How are they zigzagging?
Close because they get ahead, and then they zigzag in front of the other bridges.
Okay.
But they're pretty close to one another. Otherwise, they wouldn't land. Otherwise, they would have to converge at the end to land close together for the cavalry charge to work.
I don't know. I think my idea is still better.
I just think you would need so much space to pull it off because you would essentially have to run, and then you would have to like switch, the back of the bridge would have to do a wide pivot, and then you would run, and then the back of the bridge. So you would need way more space across the whole battlefield to move the bridges into place. Anyway, they do the side carry that you guys explained, and I finally fucking understand what it is. And it makes more sense now that they're just exposed during the volleys. It just seems like the Parshendi... Like, there's just a reason why eventually you say stop volleying and fire at will. It just works better once your enemy's within a certain range. But what matters here is none of what we just said. Forget fucking everything that just came out of our mouths and everything that you put in chat. Because what matters now is they do this side carry. It works every time.
Not yet, but yeah.
Oh, no, it works. It fucking crushes. They are taking no losses.
They're not doing that yet.
Yeah, they are.
No.
Yeah, they are.
We have a flashback.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about the flashback.
Yeah. Yep. We have a chapter 31.
Chapter 31.
And it's basically just that Cal's dad is like, don't come back here when you are a surgeon. It sucks. People are the worst. And then they almost get robbed. Except that Lirin shines a light on them. That's what happens. They almost get robbed.
That is the least cinematic way of describing what happens in this chapter. It's so cool, and you're like, they almost get robbed, and then Liren shines a light. Liren pulls out a flashlight, and then this chapter's over.
They go skittering back into the dark.
Come on, you gotta give it a little bit more juice. What are these people here for? Claris barely describes the plot of Way of Kings.
Polaris.
No, so basically, Wistio gave them all of these spheres, and they're not spending them. And so, after Liren's in the middle of Liren's drunk night, there's a knock on the door, and suddenly there are masked, hooded, dark men in the fucking alleyway in front of their house, and they're banging on the door, and they open the door, and they're like, "Give us the fucking spheres," and Kaladin, at this point, thinks his dad is a bit of a coward, right? He is under the impression that his father kowtows to the town and does not accept payment for his work and is a bit of a meek man. And his father, in defiance of the judgment in his son's eyes, grabs a goblet of spheres, rips off the towel that hangs over top of them, and shines a light on the people of the town. The people whose lives Liren has saved in the past. And in that moment, Kaladin sees the people of this town and takes in the fact that it is his neighbors that are trying to rob him. And his father is the one that is standing up with bravery and courage. And that what true bravery is standing in the light and not shirking through the shadows. And it's dope as fuck. It's really cool.
It is. It's a great moment. Hey, you almost skipped over it.
I would rather skip it completely than say they were almost robbed.
That's what happens, though. I'm not wrong.
Why does anyone watch this fucking show? Oh my god.
For the reality TV bullshit.
To have to click on 3 different links to watch one YouTube video.
Yeah, sorry guys. It is what it is. Hopefully everybody made it back, but yeah.
But it is the interesting thing of like when people think that they can be anonymous, they will steal. And when you shine a light on them, they run away. A lesson Jasna should have learned. But her dad isn't Kaladin, because her dad is dead.
True, yes, her dad.
Or her dad isn't Liren. I fucked that up.
You're fine. We knew what you meant.
All right, Claris, do you want to give us your interpretation of Chapter 32?
Yeah, so Chapter 32 is Kaladin and Bridge 4 carry the bridge sideways, and Kaladin gets beat up. Still not wrong.
Sometimes in the comments, people are like, wow, Nerdy talks a lot more than Claris does. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, because that's what you get.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm not wasting time, okay?
The show would be way shorter if you let it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it's way more fun.
It would be a clean 60. We would have a normal podcast if you were the leader of the...
I don't know. The tangents might get a little more unhinged. Have you ever watched my stream?
Oh my god. Yeah, so we meet we did a chapter reaction to this, so if you want to watch us react to this chapter you can.
Yes.
But we meet Lopen.
Yeah.
Who is basically new fresh meat is brought to the bridges, and Kaladin is like, "Hey, I want somebody." And Gaz is like, "You don't need anyone." And Kaladin is like, "Give me one fucking person." And he's like, "You can have one. Fine. Yeah. Fuck you. Yeah. But you have to choose." And then Kaladin looks at a bunch of dudes who all have 2 arms and are good at carrying things, the thing that he needs. And he goes, "You know what? I will take the one-armed, one-horned flying purple people eater. Thank you very much."
Yeah. Lopen, actually, the Flying Purple People Eater's actual name canonically is Lopen.
Yeah. Excuse you, the Lopen. Thank you for that super chat, Junior Kenazarius.
Thank you, to that.
Why do you guys keep calling him the Lopen?
Because he says he's the only one with that name.
Okay, that's not a spoiler. Cool.
Oh my god. Yeah, so Lopen is also the only one who like says anything to Kaladin. Kaladin's like looking around a pick, and Lopen is like, "Hey, listen." Kaladin is like, "Yeah, okay, I'll take that one."
Ernest, I'll thank you for that super chat. The Lopen.
The Lopen, yes.
I guess if we just insult Lopen enough, we'll get enough super chats in defense to pay for our flights tomorrow.
Here's the thing.
Scuff Andy, thank you for that super chat.
I'm sorry, okay. Wow, gee, god damn, okay.
It's
sorry.
just Lopen, guys. It's just Lopen.
Lopen. God damn. I feel like you're also the nerdy and I'm the Claris, because I don't think there's anyone else with those names.
Claris, definitely. I don't know anyone else who goes by nerdy as their name.
I don't know any other Claris. I'm just saying. Just Googling Claris.
I mean, this is mostly companies. The Claris Corporation. Headquartered in Salt Lake City, Utah. Hey!
Wow, I make whiteboards. That's fun.
I mean, you are very white.
That's true.
You're like, I need a board that is similar to the pallor of my skin.
Guys, okay, I'm sorry. It's the Lopen.
Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat. Guillermo Barros, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you
guys are ridiculous.
Thank you.
Lesby Nerdy's name isn't nerdy, though. There are plenty of channels that have nerdy in the channel title.
Yeah.
But I don't think Lesby Nerdy, I don't think people call her nerdy. I introduce myself in person as
like,
nerdy.
Hi, I'm nerdy. Yeah.
Like, that's just, I consider that as much my name as David is my name.
Y'all are wild. I'm sorry.
It is
the Lopen. You're right. I'm sorry.
I only really introduce myself as David when I'm in Calgary.
Sure.
Or
in an acting
if
audition.
my mom... No, even there, like, I'm like, yeah, most people call me nerdy.
Oh. Okay.
I tell people that. It gets like people talking in the room. It's, something to remember me by. I haven't been booking lately. Maybe that's why.
Because you're like, hi, I'm nerdy. And they're like, what a goof.
So basically, they go on a bridge run. Lopen can't carry a bridge. Neither can some of the sick boys that they're healing. And so they fall behind.
Water.
Lopen actually does lead them. Lopen goes and grabs like these dying men and is like, hey, I need you to help me carry water.
Yeah.
For the bridge boys.
Mm-hmm.
Which is starting to feel more and more like the Mad Max Fury Road war boys.
Yeah.
What a lovely day to die!
Yeah.
I just need them to start yelling, witness me, as they jump off the chasms.
And, like, chrome their faces.
Just stormlight themselves in the face and then fucking, like, leap into battle. And so, yeah, they charge after them with water. They do the side carry in battle.
They do it.
Sleet Sheep, thank you for that super chat. It is, in fact, the Lopen. He asked 100 to 200 people, guys.
Yeah. That is a pretty large focus group. Is that what it's called?
New merch idea, Claris whiteboard.
I'm not gonna make a whiteboard.
That's your skin color? It would just be a whiteboard.
I mean, yeah.
We could just sell a whiteboard and call it the Claris Polaris skin tone.
Oh my god! Like this is what white is. Like
I wanna sell clown makeup that's like the Claris Polaris palette.
Oh my god! It's just white.
It's just white.
Oh my.
It's just white. It's like cheap, like dollar store white face paint for Halloween.
No.
But we sell it for like $70.
No.
Hey guys, I'm anti-capitalism. So they do the side carry, and the entire battle completely collapses. Mm-hmm. Basically, what happens is because Bridge 4 has a shield that they're using very well to deflect the arrows. It's a very cool scene, and it starts off feeling great. The Parshendi start to focus down the other bridges. The other bridges start trying to do the side carry, but they
didn't practice.
So they drop their bridges. People are dying.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people die.
Yeah.
The soldiers. A few of them get across, but the cavalry is basically broken because they don't get enough across at once to really do a charge.
It's bad.
It's a disaster. Really, and Kaladin just kind of stands there and watches it and goes, oh, this is...
Oopsie.
Oh, Kaladin made an oopsie. He's like, I saved everyone on my bridge and I killed hundreds of people.
Honestly, good for him. Crushed it.
The more we do this show, the more I question your moral stances.
He's a bridge leader. His responsibility is Bridge 4. He can't be responsible for the other people on the battlefield. That's Sadeas's job. So Sadeas is actually the failure here. Yeah.
I'm sure Kaladin feels that way. So Lammel and Gaz walk over, and Kaladin is like, if you kill me, they're going to think that you're hiding something. And they're like, fine. Beat the shit out of him.
Beat you.
And they do.
Then.
They beat the shit out of him. James Ross says, I can tell Claris is being sarcastic. Claris, are you being sarcastic?
I am Claris. Yeah.
Are you going to start saying I am Claris all the time like you're fucking Groot?
I could.
You'd be a terrible podcast partner.
Well, I don't know. Groot is a great conversationalist, okay?
But we also notice in this moment that all of Kaladin's spheres scatter on the ground, and they're all done spheres now. Ooh, why do they keep losing their stormlight?
So it's because
maybe because there's fucking magic.
It's because the bridge starts feeling lighter. He's like, I don't know if we could do this, and then it's like, oh, it's fine, because he like lashes the gravity bridge to somewhere else, so it's lighter.
I just fucking love that people in our chat earlier were like, it's not magic, it's science to them. And I'm like, the guy changes gravity. The guy absorbs light and changes the gravity of
Super
just
science.
him.
Super science.
Like, the people in our chat are literally
Artificial
like,
gravity.
It's not magic, it's science. As he is absorbing stormlight and adjusting the gravity of individual people in a room. Guys, it's fucking magic. Why are we arguing about this? Why is this a conversation? Why is our chat like this? Why do you want to drive me crazy?
They do it deliberately to antagonize.
I know, but it's magic! It's okay that it's magic!
But look, our whole podcast is built on pedantry. So if we're going to be pedantic, then so is chat. We just have to accept that.
Guys, it's not an output. He changes gravity for an individual item in space.
Uh-huh.
And it's not just him. He can also change the gravity of anything he touches. It's fucking magic.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Chapter 33.
Math. It's actually math. Fuck off. Oh my god.
I love that it's even called a magic system and people are like, no, it's science. It's pretty scientific.
Brandon Sanderson is like, yes, my science system. It doesn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah, because it's fucking magic. Because it is. It's just, that's what it is. It's a magic system. It's magical. It does magic
James
shit that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Stop being funny, and then chat will stop. It's magic? No. Mm-mm.
I would accept magic, because it's not fucking science. Astrophysics is not a magic system.
Anything but science, guys. Anything but science.
You cannot do that with magnets. You can't. That's not how magnets work.
Are we going to have a magnet lesson?
Linus Vikstrom says gravity is just a vector. Stormlight is applied matrix multiplication. Science, biatch. Gravity isn't a vector. Gravity is a force.
I don't know what those words
Cymatics.
mean, so.
We get another somewhat interesting conversation between Shallan.
I find it very interesting, so shut your face.
Yeah, this one was a little bit dense for me. I didn't really get it, if I'm being completely honest.
Get what?
This concept that the cities are in the shape that you can make with the grains of sand on a metal plate. And then Jasna comes in and is like, that isn't even that cool. And he's like embarrassed and he just leaves.
I was not sure what this was trying to say.
It's trying to be the opening credits from Rings of Power Season 1.
So what I think happened, Chad, what I think happened is that Capsule is like, hey, all of these cities are made in the shapes of letters that we use.
Yes.
Which, like, yeah, people made them up. I don't...
Eternal Eclipse calls it filler. This is a chapter, honestly, where I was like, this is where I felt the page count of this book.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This was a chapter where I was sitting reading this and I was like, oh, this is like kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I know that cymatics are a real thing. That's why I'm making the Rings of Power joke. I understand cymatics as a concept exists, right?
What is cymatics?
It's basically that like frequencies can create shapes.
Frequencies can create shapes.
It's sort of we can literally do this with computers now, right? Like we can create sounds by creating shapes in certain programs that will then output a sound.
Like sound waves have a specific shape to them.
Kind of, yeah. But it's more frequencies. It's more that frequencies have shape to them.
So they're shapes more than just a line?
Yeah. And so the thing about this as a concept is that it is used by people to claim that there is a god.
Okay.
Like people, someone brought up in chat already, like the idea that galaxies look like the iris of the human eye. There are certain shapes that occur in nature more frequently than others, and so that we use those as an argument to say that someone divine created it, and not that certain things are more likely to happen than others, right?
Okay.
Yeah. This chapter was fine. It's Capsule. The only thing that's actually important about it is that Capsule is an adept who really wants to fuck Shallan, and she's like, I should not be feeling these things about Capsule.
Because he's Ardent and I can't?
A priest.
Yeah, I guess the priests are celibate in this world, I think. Yeah. Morris Sprimnon, thank you for that super chat. Physics by Newton is definitely my favorite magic system. I mean, stuff goes up, then falls down. Fascinating.
Okay, I just want to point out real quick here. Sometimes y'all complain that we go on too many tangents, but then if I'm funny for 1 second, you will pay to drag that second on for as long as you can get me to keep going on it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's how chat gets their kicks.
But then don't complain that the show has a bunch of weird tangents and we go random places. Because y'all...
Morris Primnon is not going to complain about it.
Y'all make that shit happen. It is 100% your fault. The show is bad because of Chad, not because of me. Okay?
Wow.
This show's garbage.
Wow.
Go watch anybody else.
It's your fault.
There is so much good content on the internet, you guys. There are so many people who are doing amazing work. Mm-hmm. This is not that.
The James Ross, the people who complained about the tangents are not here anymore.
Watching you cry makes us feel better.
They're not here anymore.
I just think like there are so many talented content creators in the world, and then there's me, and like
it's the beard.
I mean, it must. No, I think it's you. I think
it's the beard.
It's the beard.
All right, took me a minute, but I appreciated that.
Stephanie, thank you for that super chat. Dr. Terrence Howard discovered these incredible scientific discoveries. Y'all, that Terrence Howard shit is so funny because people are like, wow, he's really smart. And then if you actually watch that interview, it makes no fucking sense.
Okay.
And even like Neil deGrasse Tyson had to come out and be like, guys, like this doesn't make sense. Like we can't just. People who struggle to understand the concept of 1 times 1 to me is so crazy.
Wait, Terrence Howard can't do math?
No, I know. But he thinks that he invented VR, which is so funny.
He invented VR.
Yeah. He invented VR. He's not making any money off of it, but he invented VR somehow. All right.
Is that like how Elon Musk invented Tesla? Does he like own shares in it now?
No.
Is that what it is?
Actually, he like has a patent from a long time ago about the concept of VR.
Okay,
but
sure.
He doesn't make any money off of it for reasons that I don't know.
It's worse than that. Wow. Okay, it's pretty bad.
It's
pretty bad.
Yeah.
All right.
I
thought Star Trek invented VR.
Kind of.
Yeah, the holodeck, right?
No, that's not really VR.
Is it not?
Not in the modern sense, no.
Oh, I definitely thought that was like the... Okay, doesn't matter.
So anyway, Jasna kicks Capsule out, and Jasna is like, hey, Shallan, he just wants my soulcaster, so when he asks you to get it from me, know that he doesn't want to fuck you.
Yeah, that
He's
one,
using you to get to me.
That one was wild. She's like, oh no, this happens to me all the time. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
I guess Geordi's visor is very VR-y. Yeah. It's more AR-y, but than VR-y.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
James Ross, thank you for that super chat. Stop with the imposter syndrome and own it.
Yeah.
I own being a terrible content creator. I accept it.
We know our strengths and our weaknesses, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I post my opinions on the internet for you to flagellate so that I may know... So that I can entertain the masses with... Just go read the One Piece comments from the last 2 videos.
The internet exists for people to argue.
Yeah.
Go read the
One Piece comments from the last 2 videos. Go see how well I'm doing as a content creator right now. I've lost a lot of subs on that channel.
Yeah. Out of all the terrible content creators, Nerdy is the best.
Hey, I'll take that.
Hey, there you go.
I'll lead the bottom rung. You know what I mean?
I thought you were going to say
am
the
the
bottoms.
bridge leader of the content space. You know?
Sure. Okay.
You've got your Mr. Beasts. You've got your Ludwigs. You've got your...
Who are the high princes?
They're the high princes, you know? You've got your soldiers. You got your, like, Matt Pat. He's the Dalinar who just retired.
So does that mean you're Kaladin Stormblast, then?
No. I think I'm more like I'm like the bridge leader of Bridge 22. You know what I mean? Not named.
Really average.
Just sort of over to the side.
Really average.
Yeah. Clarice, you are Rock.
No, it's the Nerdy. Guys, the Nerdy
No,
is the lopen.
I'm Teft. I've done a lot of weird shit in my past, and as it comes out, you just keep going, the fuck's up with that guy?
Well, and you're like, why me?
Yeah.
Which I don't get yet.
Yeah, actually, kind of, yeah. I'm Teft.
You're like, why me? Morris for not thank you for again for that.
Nerdy is gas.
Super. Wow, Philip banned.
Oh, God.
Get out of here.
That's so funny.
How can this show be bad if
Gotta
I've
cut my eye
watched
out.
more book club than Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad combined and like it way more? Wow. That is maybe the highest compliment I've ever received.
Hours-wise, this show probably is longer than both those shows.
Oh, it definitely is. But the fact that you
Game of Thrones is
enjoyed our
pretty long.
show more than Breaking Bad.
Would we actually be longer? So 10 episodes... Okay, so like
Yeah.
there's probably close to 100 hours of Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we crush hours-wise. There's way more book
We've
club.
been doing this for 2.5
Guys,
years.
there's more book club than Game of Thrones. How sad is that?
What do you
And
mean
we haven't
sad?
covered Game of Thrones.
We're so consistent.
We're pretty consistent, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Calm the fuck down, everybody.
No, but actually that was very kind. Thank you.
That's so funny.
Feel a little bit better.
I feel worse. I can't believe that we are that people have watched more of this than Game of Thrones.
They said they liked it better.
I know that they do. I just feel like you shouldn't watch me ever. I feel like I should not be perceived. It should be illegal for me to exist.
Says the person with a musical theater degree.
I know, it's a problem.
It is a problem.
It is a problem. I think that it's because I actively can't stand most musical theater people. And I know that I am one, to the biggest degree. I improvised 2 different songs while listening to One Piece yesterday.
I have a video actually.
Oh no!
That you're gonna love.
Judah Kenazars, thank you for that super chat. You say you're terrible content creators, but y'all are so personable and fun, which is why we stay consumed. We love y'all, guys. We have to get back to the book. This is not nerdy talk.
It's
the Nerdy Wordy Book Club.
You're just singing, and I was like. Just you.
Oh yeah, I was singing Sweeney Todd in the shower.
Full scene with yourself. It was great. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna want this video one day.
That was because I started singing Sweeney Todd on stream while I was in the middle of an Elden Ring fight.
And so Nerdy goes in the shower and he does full scenes and songs with himself. It's great.
So Jimmer says if you ever become super successful, you're gonna have the biggest imposter syndrome ever. Guys, I think we've peaked. I think this is the level of success we're going to maintain.
Get out now while the shares are still
No, I want to
value.
Look, all I want is to hit 100K on YouTube. Am I doing the things that would help me hit 100K on YouTube? Fuck no. But I want to.
Yeah. Our goal is 100K.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Stormwall. We have to do the book.
Stormwall?
This is a book club. Chapter 34.
Oh, that's what the chapter's called.
Kaladin wakes up hanging. He's just hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
And he's upside down, hanging by his ankles on the outside of the wall.
Yep.
Syl is there.
Mm-hmm.
And Syl is like, yo, what's up, motherfucker? Don't die, bitch. I'm your honor spren. I am hard committing that she's an honor spren.
I'm with you.
I'm making a hard commitment to my first theory.
Yeah. I
don't buy this Windspren bullshit.
Yeah.
She is gaslighting him, and it is inappropriate. Syl, you've got to do better.
I don't think she knows.
That's fair. Linus, thank you for the fucking 10 gifted membership.
Linus, thank you for helping us pay to get to LA.
Yeah, thank you for the help.
And thank you for gifting those people memberships so that they can too watch the reaction to chapters that we reacted to. Don't do math. Cool. Numbers, yeah, sorry. That's your job.
So Kaladin has a conversation with Rock, Teft, and Moash. Moash, I'm coming around on Moash.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
His level of skepticism, I love Kaladin. The scene, I don't think we talked about it, but the scene where he's like, why did you pick me? And he's like, because you held out the longest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's some... I like that. I like that about you, that you
every good
weren't
leader,
swayed easily by, my convictions.
Every good leader needs almost like an antagonist. Right? Like somebody who's going to be like, wait, no. Who's going to say no.
Yeah.
And you actually have to like defend your points too, because that's I think where people fail is just having a bunch of yes men around them.
Mm-hmm. And Kaladin knows.
And he gets it.
He knows.
Yeah, he fucking gets it.
But I'm coming around on Mosh. I'm hoping that we can get more time with him, because he's a character I actually find really fascinating.
Yeah.
And so they kind of tell Kaladin all of the bad shit that happened, and they're like, they're literally like, hey bud, so this Highstorm's coming. You're gonna die. But we will remember you.
We'll remember you.
We will remember you. And he's like, nah, fuck that.
He's like, when I open my eyes, you're going to see my soul.
After the storm is done, come back outside. Bring the boys and look in my eyes. I'm going to be just fine. And they're like,
sure, buddy.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Sure, buddy. Okay.
And Teft puts a little dun sphere in his hand and says, like, sorry, we can get all your money back.
Yeah, but it's like, good luck for you to have this in a high storm.
Yeah. And then the storm all crashes into him.
Do you think... No, I think it's a luck thing. I don't think Teft would have any inkling at this point. Well, does he? No, you're right. He does, because he did talk about...
Because he knows about the invisors.
Which is a word. Yeah. So chapter 35.
Teft knows a lot about magic. In a world where nobody knows anything about magic.
Yeah.
Why? Don't know. Good question. Popcorn in chat.
It feels like a sect of people. Like the way that he talks about them, it feels like a sect of people who maybe didn't reject the heralds in the way that everyone else thinks the heralds are like monsters.
It kind of reminded me of Sazed. And the Rememberers? What is Sazed again? He's a
feruchemist?
No. He's
the Keepers.
The Keepers, that's what it was.
Oh, okay.
It kind of reminded me of the Keepers. You know, like they're keeping the knowledge of the time before the Herald's time. I got that kind of a vibe.
Yeah, but now they're all dead because of Teft,
But that
maybe?
also kind of made me think of Sazed and the Keepers, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens in that book. Can we talk about Mistborn? I feel like we're talking about Mistborn a lot, but like if you guys, I don't know, it's gonna be tough to. This is a Cosmere spoilery kind of thing. If we've read it in the Cosmere, I think we have to be able to talk about it.
Yes, yes.
Especially because Hoyd is in all of the... Like,
yes.
I think it's weird for us to try and talk around Mistborn.
I have a feeling that most of the people who are here have already read most of the Cosmere stuff. And the ones that haven't have been reading along with us and have read the same things that we've read. And now if you haven't, I'm sorry. But yeah, this is spoilers for what we have read.
Yeah, okay. Philip says, did you mention how Lammel was killed because he beat Cal 2 Senses to tell them the side carry was his idea? I don't think that's what happened. I think that the book sets it up that Lammel is killed by Sadeas because...
Just as a
ultimately,
example.
Well, but because ultimately it is his purview, right?
Yeah.
I think that like the truth about power is that Heavy is the head who wears the crown. And I think that it's more about that than it is about Kaladin not being awake to tell him. I don't think
that's
that there was...
That's what it read to me, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there was a world where Lammel gets away with this alive.
Yeah, Sadeas seems like the kind of person that does not have any kind of mercy and doesn't give a fuck. Execute, no problem.
Well, and in many ways, like, Lammel is too busy blackmailing the man under him to actually run this stuff, right? Like, there is room for this to happen under Lamrel's command because he isn't actually paying attention. He's literally more focused on bribes and blackmail.
Yeah.
That is where his attention is. And so because his attention is not on what the people under his command are doing, it falls apart.
Yeah.
If Lammel was doing his job, he would be there going, no, we're not doing that. You know what I mean? And instead, he's put Gaz in a position where Gaz doesn't give a fuck about Lammel.
Yeah.
Gaz actually ends up in a better position because of this. In a weird way, the person who benefits the most from this disaster is Gaz. Kaladin a little bit because, eventually Teft is going to let him know that he has fucking magic. That is not science, it's magic.
Yeah.
Healing your body by holding spheres is magic. I I can't believe I have to describe magic to chat. This is crazy, guys.
This joke will never die.
But yeah, I know. It's like how 10 plus 5 is not math. I'm getting that on a shirt soon.
All right, I love that for us.
I need that shirt, and it's
shirt
on the way.
Only for book club.
Half of our shit is a book shirt only for book club.
That's fair. I mean, this is not like
this isn't even related to book club. This is an Expanse t-shirt.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's other stuff.
It's also not really like centered.
Yeah, it is. It just looks heavier on this side because of the like hard line.
I don't know. It's a great shirt.
Mine is centered at least.
But it might just be the angle of the camera.
That's also that. Because I always look like I'm like the twisted this way.
Oh my god, you guys, it's not science. It's fucking magic.
So anyways,
10 plus 5 isn't math.
And the storm wall hits Kaladin. And basically flays his skin.
Yeah.
And, breaks his body. Although he was beaten, so it's like, is it the Highstorm or was it Lemurow's people? Who knows? He is broken. That's what matters.
Yeah.
He's, like, flung around in the storm.
Well, and it's not even he started at, it's one thing to go into a Highstorm after a long rest, but...
Right. He just did it after a big battle.
Well, after he got his ass beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck.
He was in death saves after that beating.
Yeah. And then fucking the Highstorm. I really wonder, with the Stormlight RPG, what the mechanics of being outside in a storm wall are.
Yeah, like what the weather is, yeah.
I know that we're not allowed to play it at Gen Con, and who knows what's going on with Gen Con, but fuck do I want to play this Stormlight RPG right now.
One of my favorite things that they added into Civ 6 was natural disasters. So
interesting.
Yeah, so if you settle on a coast...
I've only played 5, I've never played 6.
We should honestly play together, it's fun. But if you settle on the plane or something. But you settle on a coast and you get benefits from being on the coast. But also when global warming happens, you get floods and shit.
Yeah. I'm just really excited to play this RPG.
I think it'll be really fun.
I think the direction of Nerdy Nightly is going to be of Roleplay Relay, is going to be more not D&D RPGs. I feel like trying out a bunch of things is going to be the direction of that channel. Because I think it's partially because I think that there's a million D&D shows, and I think being the channel that does everything else is cool. But also, I'm so excited by it. I really like the idea of it. Yeah. Yeah, and the Stormlight one seems so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope that the Highstorms are a mechanic. I hope they're included somehow. Yeah.
Well, they're going to have to be, right? Because that's going to be how you get your spheres lit up. So, there's going to have to be an element of, the GM's going to have to keep track of when Highstorms are coming. Mm-hmm. And, the Highstorm Prophet people letting you know when they're coming, but sometimes being wrong is going to be a really fun thing that... I love the idea of being able to, insight check the Highstorm watchers to see if they're right or not.
Oh, yeah. It's like the weather, which we've gotten better at predicting, but sometimes you're like, wow, how were we so off?
Yeah, Arik says the MCDM RPG looks really cool so far. Can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Once they get it out of their beta, very interested. And Tithanus brings up DC20. We did back DC20. So once the Kickstarter's done and we get our books, we will be playing that as well. Yeah. We also back Kids in Capes. We're trying to we're trying to be behind these smaller independent TTRPG companies.
Yeah. Because it's what we want to do. We want to put our efforts into that.
Yeah, Vampire the Masquerade can't talk about, so
don't worry about
it.
Ernest Hill, thank you for that super chat. Still standing in front of the storm trying to part the winds for Kaladin is my favorite part of the chapter.
Let's get back into the chapter. A Life by Which to See.
It's so good.
So Kaladin gets tossed around like a goddamn rag doll. And he's getting his ass beat. Syl is fighting God.
Yeah, because Cal sees a face in the storm.
Yeah.
Which, maybe that's a Voidbringer, because they say that the storms bring the Voidbringers. Maybe it's a Voidbringer who isn't fully, corporeal, right? Because they haven't, been able to, invade yet. But, I don't know.
I don't know that I would buy it being a Voidbringer. It smiles at him.
Uh-huh.
So I think that because it smiles at him, it's got to be some kind of larger entity that likes that he's a Surge Binder and wants there to be a Surge Binder.
Yeah, but like it could be like a devious smile of like you're about to die.
But then doesn't.
Well, yeah.
Because his sphere lights up. And then he's like, I got a light. Over at the Frankenstein place, there's a light. Janet's got a condom in her hair.
Jesus Christ.
That's it. Okay, I genuinely, did anyone get that joke? Please, did anyone get that joke?
Yeah, Project Myrtle gets it.
Myrtle gets it, okay.
I, genuinely cannot believe that, U.S. citizens do fucking Rocky Horror-style callouts in the fucking national anthem. Like, watching sports has made me just cringe so bad. Because they're like, yeah, bombs! And you're like, whoa, okay, sure.
Or the end of at Arrowhead, the end of the national anthem, they all go, and the home of the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, that's so cringy.
Yeah.
That's really, yeah. And they say they respect their country.
I used to do the shadow cast Rocky Horror in Calgary. And so I know all of those callouts. But Janet's got a condom in her hair is one of my favorites.
That's fair. Steak is meat. Thank you for that super chat. Maybe I need to get to making my own TTRPG. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Get on that. Yeah, no, that's a weird thing to do during the national anthem, and honestly, I hate it.
But don't kneel.
No. Yeah.
You can yell,
scream,
anything else, all you want, but do not kneel.
Yeah. Anyways.
So Kaladin is getting fucking beat to shit.
Yeah.
And he eventually falls unconscious. This chapter, we did react to it. It's like really good. It's really well written.
Yeah.
There are whole parts where he's like flopping around on the roof. He's trying to like lay flat on the roof so that the wind doesn't hit him as hard.
Yeah.
It's creative and fun, and this chapter rocked.
Yeah.
I was very into it. It's very cool. Well done, Brandon Sanderson.
Hell yeah. After the Highstorm, Rock comes out and Teft is there, and Teft is like, he can't be alive, possibly, but then why am I going to see? What a quandary. And then Kaladin opens his eyes.
Yeah. And then Teft looks at the sphere in his hand, and it is a dun sphere. And he's like, that doesn't make any sense.
It's like, that's suspicious.
And then he's like, this is almost like my backstory.
What? The D&D character gets to reveal his backstory.
Chapter 36. We get...
All right, we're here. We're here. I need everyone to...
Are you ready?
Fasten your seatbelts.
Oh, are you ready?
Buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride.
So Shallan, previously Shallan was on her span read being like, I'm getting closer to Shallan, or to Jasna. Yeah. And so I think that pretty soon she's going to let me look at them titties while she's naked in the bath.
Pretty much. And
her brother's like, hot, steal the Soulcaster. And so it happens. Shallan becomes Jasna's bathing attendant. And she has an opportunity to steal the Soulcaster. And doesn't take it. Because she's like, you know what? Maybe this is... a
bad thing. Maybe
wrong?
Stealing is bad.
Maybe this is...
Yeah.
Wrong?
Yeah. Maybe stealing is bad.
Am I the bad guy? And so Jasna's like, you've been doing really good learning about atheism and other shit. I think it's time for you to learn something more hands-on.
It's history.
Philosophy. I know, but she hasn't really been teaching her history. She's mostly been teaching her
That's
atheism.
The only thing she's been studying is history.
I know, but...
They had one conversation about why Jasna's an atheist.
Two.
And Jasna
We've had two conversations, and they're the only conversations we've seen them have on page.
Sure, because the history part is boring, I guess. But that's the only thing that Shallan is studying.
Yes, that's correct. But the only thing we see happen on page is her be like, this is why you should be an atheist. When the adepts
she
were like...
say that.
No, But
she's like, I'm not trying to like turn anyone else. I really don't care what you believe, but like I can't believe in this.
Yeah. Which the adepts would say is attempting to turn her away from their faith. Religious people view no. This isn't like nerdy speaking. This is like my view of religious people is they view any attempt to bring up anything outside of their faith as an attack on their faith.
Well,
there is no room to
some of them for sure
bring up the idea of something else. They almost always view it as an attack on what they believe. Or as trying to turn them. Even though, by definition, they're the ones who are constantly trying to proselytize people into their faith. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Like, Christians literally train people on how to go out in the world and convert people. It's like their whole thing. Mormons are like, we got to send our kids out for 2 years. And then they're like, don't you try and radicalize me about anyone else doing the exact same thing.
Yeah,
just
but
not as good.
It's not radical if the religion is doing it. It's only radical if an atheist is doing it.
Anyway, so Jasna's like, I got to teach you philosophy, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to go on a walk. And they go on a walk to the theater district, and they're basically on like 8th Avenue, New York City, where the strip clubs are.
It's like Sherbourne and Front Street.
Nobody knows what that is.
They do.
No. 8th Avenue is a much better description, but it's 8th Avenue in the 90s, okay? This is like before the cleanup of New York City, back when New York was a little bit darker. We're talking the era of The Deuce, you know what I mean? We're talking like HBO, The Sopranos kind of New York City.
Sure. Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat. Being an atheist and a nice person, anti-Christian.
Yes. That's true. I'm an atheist, I'm a nice person, and I'm anti-Christian. So that is a fact. That just is correct. I'm joking.
Sarcasm.
I'm
/S.
Only anti-Christian when it comes to it being in politics in any way, shape, or form.
You know, like them hating gay people or...
Oh, yeah, I don't care what you believe. I just don't want you to expect me to follow what your book says.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, they go out. And then they're in a very dark alley, or they're about to go into a dark alley. And Jasna's like, hey, so there's been a lot of crime here. And so basically, I'm going to like show all my jewelry off in the hopes that people will come into this alley and attempt to murder me so that I can kill people. Yeah,
basically what has been happening is that there have been several murders of theater goers in this alleyway. And so Jasna believes that because there are no guards in this alley, despite them knowing that the murders are taking place, that obviously someone is taking bribes to leave this alley empty and undefended so that people walking home will get robbed and murdered.
Yes.
And that's what happens is some murderers show up and try and kill Jasna and Shallan.
Yes. And so rather than do something about the bribery and corruption at the top of the system, which might
you cannot make
the
that
system better.
Statement because we don't know whether or not that was attempted.
Okay. Well, Jasna doesn't bring up the fact that she tried to fix the system in any way, shape, or form. Jasna lures men into the alley by flashing obscene wealth. And then fillets them with fire and turns one of them into a statue and evaporates another one. It's violent. The first one she kills, maybe justified. The two at the end who are running away that she zaps from behind with lightning bolts that obliterate their skin off of their body, less so. Significantly less so. And then she turns to Shallan and goes, see, now philosophy tells us that was a morally righteous thing to do because they were murderers, maybe.
Well, no, she doesn't say that. She says, I need you to come to your own conclusions about whether or not this was right or whether this was wrong. You're putting a lot of you seem to believe that you know what Jasna's opinion on this is.
That is fair. That is a fair assumption that I think that Jasna thinks she's doing good here. I think that the good is outweighed by the bad here. I think that this is... I think that this is a very morally wrong thing to do. Mm-hmm. And Shallan, in stealing the Soulcaster because of this event at the end of this chapter, right, mm-hmm. is morally righteous for taking a gun away from someone who is willing to use it to murder people.
Actually, I don't know about that. I think that,
like, in America, we got red flag laws where we take the weapons away from people who should not use them. And I think that Jasna proves that she should not use them here. I think, legitimately, if somebody went into an alley, killed 4 people, and then was like, philosophy, right? I think that it would be righteous to not let that person continue to have that weapon.
Okay, interesting.
You know what I mean? I think that might be a correct next step.
I mean, that wasn't Shallan's, thought process.
Oh, though. No. I'm not saying that's the reason why Shallan did it at all. At all.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that Shallan might have been the one that did the right thing by being like, mm-hmm. Shallan should have been like, maybe you shouldn't have this.
Yeah. So okay. So in the reaction, my gut instinct was like, yeah, I totally get what Jasna did. These people are murderers mm-hmm. and thieves who the literal king of the city was made aware of the situation here and was not able to make a difference because of the corruption. Jasna says that he knows and that he said something and that nothing changed. And so, obviously, there is a problem of corruption within this city.
Yes.
And Taravangian being seen as a weak leader, and Jasna not having any actual authority in the city. But having thought about it a lot, I wrote down a lot of notes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the situation that Jasna is in, I think that she is morally right, I guess, in the first, maybe the second murder, but the reason and that Jasna is in the situation that she's in and the intent behind it makes what she did morally wrong. Because Jasna is basically a cop who went into a neighborhood of that is mostly people of color and knew that a crime was going to happen because previous crimes had happened so that she could kill dark-eyed people.
It's racist as fuck.
Yeah, I was like, if that was in our world, it would be absolutely abhorrent, right? That cop who deliberately put themselves in the position to murder people that are dark eyes or people of color is heinous. And so I think that is what makes this situation morally wrong. If Jasna had been there without the intent to kill, if she had killed out of self-defense without knowing full well what she was walking into, I think that changes the converstion.
100%.
Yeah, but I think...
Oh, no. I want to be...
The fact that she took Shallan, she endangered her ward.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She endangered basically a child, so that she could go murder some dark-eyed people is where it's bad.
I want to be clear about my stance on this. Mm-hmm. I don't think that if she had been attacked in that alley mm-hmm. and she wasn't there to be attacked in that alley, I would feel very differently about it, right? The problem morally for me is that Jasna goes, Shallan, hey, we're going to walk down that alley mm-hmm. because I want to be attacked so that I can kill the people attacking me. Mm-hmm. That is the moral problem.
Yeah.
The problem isn't self-defense. This isn't self-defense. You instigated it. Mm-hmm. But I think that my big issue with Jasna in this is that her understanding of philosophy is so limited to a child's understanding of philosophy, right? Because
I don't know. We don't know that because we don't know Jasna's opinion on what she did.
But Jasna believes in evil men.
Believes that they exist?
Yes.
Okay.
And the more interesting philosophical question is evil real? Right? Does evil exist? Or are there systems in place that create environments where the underclass that has been put down by a inherently racist society, is that the evil of this world?
And that is the fundamental problem, is that there are the light eyes and the dark eyes. And so automatically you have a system that is designed to oppress a certain group of people because of the color of eyes that they are born with. Kaltharak, thank you for that super chat. I'd actually say that anyone who says that this is a clear-cut case of right or wrong suffers from a severe case of arrogance. I think that it wasn't clear, which is why it took time for me to get there. As I said, my initial reaction was like, yeah, fuck, Jasna, she did what she had to do. That's fine. And that a further analysis of the situation has led me to believe that Jasna deliberately putting herself into a situation to kill people purposefully is what is morally wrong.
But also, she doesn't know that these people have committed murder. These 4 people, she doesn't know that they have committed murder. Or that they are going to in this moment.
Well, the first one she does. He literally raises a knife at her.
You can raise a knife at someone without killing them.
You
can threaten someone into giving you their money.
I think that is justifiable self-defense for me personally. And that is the thing. I prefaced this at the beginning of book club, which I know is a different video now, but I did say everyone is going to have their own opinion on this, and that none of it is going to be like objectively correct or incorrect. I am objectively correct.
I'm the only correct opinion on this.
Sure you
I need it to be stated on the podcast that I'm right.
Yeah. Arzu, thank you for that super chat. A cop at least has the authority to be in a crime-ridden neighborhood, and Jasna doesn't. Further, she endangered a civilian. I agree on both of those points.
Well,
like,
I think that a cop, and this is gonna get into like my feelings on cops. I don't think cops have the right to kill people. You know what I mean? Like, we give them that right, unfortunately, but the reality of the situation is, like, I still think you should arrest people.
Yeah.
And the problem is, Jasna has the ability to shut this down non-lethally.
Here's the thing. We actually don't know this at this point in the series. I don't understand what a soulcaster does. I don't understand its capabilities. And so I think that is the portion of this argument that we unfortunately cannot have right now, because we don't know what the soulcaster is capable of. Jasna might have been able to incapacitate these people to give them to.
Could she not have turned their shirts to stone?
I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like you have superpowers, and you went with violent death. It's not even like she chose quick death. She turned someone into a statue. We don't know what
instantaneously.
Is it? Are they still alive? Are they dead immediately? She vaporized 2 people while they were running away. I understand. She also lit a guy on fire. No,
she turned him into fire.
Sorry, she turned a man into fire. I don't know how that's better.
Which is different, because the man does not exist when the fire does.
Maybe. I hope it's instant. I still feel like
it is.
The character with superpowers that instigated this situation, you're really telling me you couldn't have come up with a way to stop them with your superpowers that wasn't very, very violent?
Yeah.
And kind of horrifying, right? For the people running away, I don't know. I feel like there is a way for her to have brought about an end to this situation, given the amount of power that she has.
Yep.
The amount of wealth that she has. This is a character.
No, I want to touch on that, so remind me.
Judah Canizares, I think that's super chat. Personally, I think Jasna was wrong, and that part of the point to show her character. She takes a very efficient, pragmatic view. She wants to bring the most good for the most people ASAP, thus her morality suffers. But does this bring the most good? Does it actually bring the most good? Does this solve anything?
Well, we'll never know.
Nicholas Cardillo, you can't say she did not instigate this when she says to Shallan that her intention coming here was to instigate this.
Yes.
She absolutely did. If you go to any poor neighborhood in any part of the country right now, put $500 on the ground, and then shoot the person that tries to grab it, you instigated the situation.
Yeah.
And it is so fucking privileged of her to think that this... Oh my god. that because I showed my jewels, I can commit murder is just, it is so out of touch, especially given the racism of their society, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that is really what makes it like awful, is that Jasna is a light eyes with immense privilege who is perfectly happy and willing to murder dark-eyed people in an alley, and that's like that is to me morally wrong.
Guys, I'm not excusing the criminals. I'm not saying that they should be allowed to steal from her. I'm saying that she states that her intention was for this to happen.
Yeah. She
says it. Like, for you guys to say that it's not her intention is to say that you think she is lying for some reason here. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Now, like, her lying here does not make sense.
Yeah. Now, if I understood how the soul caster worked...
Yes.
I would, like, I might be able to comment on the fact that perhaps Jasna could capture these people and bring them to the soldiers and be like, hey, like, these people tried to rob me. But in which case the outcome would still be the same. Shallan remarks that they would be hanged for their crimes. But I think the problem is when we allow one person to be the judge, jury, executioner, yes, so to speak, and we don't allow like a system that we've deliberately put in place because we believe that it helps, like, not enforce, but it like supports our morality, and then for Jasna to discard that, I think is also like it is not in her favor. But that being said, I don't understand the capabilities of the Soulcaster, and so it's difficult to have that conversation.
Dreamshake says, so if Jasna did nothing, is that good to just let the criminals wild out? No, I'm saying that you are a fucking princess, and you can do more good than taking out 4 criminals in a city, which fundamentally doesn't change crime. Taking out 4 people like this does not change crime. You have potentially put your entire nation in a position of conflict with Kharbranth because you murdered people in the street and you cannot prove any of what happened. Granted, it's a racist society, so you can just say it and your word will be taken over there. Yeah. But you still violently murdered people with magic in the street.
Light eyes are literally allowed to just kill dark eyes.
She uses a divine spiritual device to commit unholy murder in a way that the adepts and the higher parts of their society are not going to like. Like, this is a political oddity. She's using her diplomatic immunity, which I think is a bullshit thing to begin with, to get away with murder. And at the end of the day, how much crime has she really subverted from the future? What if those men had kids who are now going to grow up in the same cyclical system of not having enough as they grow up and having to turn to crime at a young age and falling down into the system, and 10 years from now, their son is in the exact same place and all you have done is enforce the system on the next generation. That's what you've actually accomplished. And this is where the philosophy of the book is so, like, small-minded. It's so, all the philosophy that we'll get to when Shallan talks about it in a moment is momentary philosophy.
It's because everyone
is
believes,
this moment correct?
It's because everyone believes in light eye supremacy, and until someone is willing to question that fact, it's never.
It's philosophy built on racism. So it's basically like this is essentially the Jim Crow South era of the world for these people.
Yeah,
and they're running on the same philosophy that allowed the Jim Crow South to exist, right?
Yeah. Josh Timko, welcome back to the Nerd Table. Jasna equals Homelander in this moment. Why is this complicated?
I don't know that she's full on Homelander. She's definitely got her faculties more than he does.
Well, yeah. I don't know if that's, like, the best direct comparison, but I understand the point you're trying to make.
And someone underneath says she's not Homelander, she's Punisher. But Punisher knows that he's wrong.
Yeah, Punisher knows he's the bad guy.
Punisher does not claim to be a hero. In fact, he has a problem with people calling him a hero because he knows he isn't.
Yeah. And Bruce, welcome back to the Nerd Table. Weird question. What about in a world where Shallan changed out the Soulcaster before this scene? Well, then they'd be dead. So I don't know what the question you're trying to ask is.
I guess he's asking, like, would it be Shallan's fault? I don't know.
Died?
It would be interesting.
I mean, maybe, yeah, it might, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they'd be dead, and it would be partially Shallan's fault, but it would also partially be Jasna's fault. Linus Vikstrom, thank you for 10 gifted memberships. More people can go watch that reaction now, because we had a good chat about this afterwards as well, but I want to try and make sure that we're hitting all the same points. But you can watch me sit there being like, I don't know how I feel about this. Judah Canizares, thank you for that super chat. To play devil's advocate, there were probably other nobles in the city who did report this and were ignored because the guards are paid off, so trying to change the system itself would take too long.
Guys, I have to nip that in the bud. We cannot murder criminals in the street because it will take a long time to change the system. That cannot be the path forward for society. That just isn't how that isn't a world I want to live in. You know what I mean? I don't think that the way forward is to kill people who have less than I do for struggling, especially given how hard things are getting now in the real world. I don't think the right course of action is to murder criminals. Yeah. I think that we have a system for a reason. Right? Yeah. We have laws and we have order for a reason. And I think that we should punish the people who break those laws, but we should do it fairly. And we should punish the people who enforce those laws unfairly. Mm-hmm. I think that we need to work on the system, not just be like, well, maybe if we just go out and start murdering thieves, the world will be a better place. Like, I don't believe that. Yeah. I don't believe that at all. I don't think that that is how you create a better society. And I think that you just reinforce the systems that create more criminals in that way.
There's a lot of media out there that is like the negative consequences of revenge and retribution. Yeah. And I think that in a conversation like this, a lot of people forget those lessons because they can be kind of like basic in a way, but I think that the heart of them is what matters.
And Jasna is a person who has the power to change things on a higher level.
No, I want to touch on that, so don't let me forget, but I don't agree with you there. Light Blinded Fool, welcome back to the Nerd Table. Jasna was wrong for intentionally setting up that situation. That is, yes. The other murderers were wrong for attempted murder as well. 2 wrongs equals math. And that is the thing, is Jasna did something that is morally wrong. That does not absolve the men who attacked them. Like both people in the situation can be morally wrong. Yes. And some people in chat seem to think that that's not the case because they're like, oh, well, what about the murderers? And it's like, no, well, they're all wrong in this situation.
Yeah, I just don't think they deserve to be supernaturally killed by magic.
Well, yes, because we don't believe in the death penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something that is going to vary from person to person. Some people think death penalty and some people think no death penalty. And so...
But like, even in a case of death penalty, it's like, well, they have to... I don't think that, like, they are probably murderers is a reason to kill people. Which is Jasna's argument, right? Like, they've probably killed people before is basically the only thing she knows about them. Yeah. And so that's where I'm like, but you don't know that.
Johnny Coleman, thank you for the super chat. What would Jasna have to do to redeem herself in your eyes? I want to touch on this. Let me get to all the other super chats. Lord Bolt, thank you for that super chat. It's easy. It's Canada's fault. It always is.
Oh, that hockey hullabaloo and that bitch Anne Murray too.
Nicholas Cardio, thank you for that super chat. How do you think this conversation is philosophical?
I mean, we're talking about philosophy of like morals and ethics.
Morality, yeah.
I think it's fairly philosophical.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to touch on Jasna's situation because I think that it is something that is unknown but is like kind of implied in the book. Jasna's reaction to what she does is not like gleeful. It is not self-justified.
Oh, I felt it was self-justified.
I don't know yet because, okay, and here's the implications that I have. I have no hard evidence of this.
I'm going to let you finish that thought, but I do want to just jump in and say the next section of this could drastically change my feelings on it if Jasna feels morally conflicted about what she did.
Right.
Go on. That's just what I wanted to throw in there.
Absolutely. So Jasna is an interesting character to me because I realized in like looking into this that Jasna is... Yes, a princess. Yes. Who kind of has leave to do whatever she wants. Yes. But may not actually have any kind of power in this world whatsoever. Because she's not a high prince. She doesn't have land. She doesn't have people that she is in charge of. She is just kind of this like floating entity who has like diplomatic immunity, I think, for being a princess. But actually, I don't believe has any influence on what people can do or say, what laws can be made, what like actions can be taken, what punishments can be enacted. And I don't know this for sure, but my interpretation of Jasna's reaction to her own actions make it seem like she is a person who feels like she should be able to have a say and an influence and is not allowed to. And it's partially why she is dedicated her life to becoming this like scholarly individual and has like shirked religion, because she like cannot bring herself to like accept that this society would let her, as an incredibly clearly intelligent woman, right? Like she definitely is smart and like caring about like the I want to say the meaning of life, but I think that just encompasses a lot. I think that like Jasna's reaction to this moment makes me feel like Jasna has had something really terrible happen to her and has not been able to do anything about it, and that this is Jasna's almost like revenge on somebody else as a scapegoat for something that has happened to her. Not saying that justifies things. Not like I'm not saying obviously the two wrongs make a right thing. Like that's, you know, that's not how this works. But I think that this situation is really interesting, and that it makes Jasna a really interesting character. Because she's kind of an outcast.
Yeah. Oh, definitely an outcast.
So many senses.
Yeah. But she's also a princess and is incredibly wealthy.
She has like protections but zero power.
Money is power.
Is it though?
Yes.
What is she going to use her money for to
when you have
change?
The level of wealth that she has, money is absolutely power.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you have the wealth of her soulcaster and her ability with it.
Yeah.
Look at the way that Taravangian cowers for her, right? Because of what she can do.
Cowers for her?
Yeah, Taravangian is always coming to her, right? He doesn't expect her to come to him. Like Taravangian listens to her in our first interaction with him, and even Shallan is surprised that the king of in part 1, Shallan is surprised that the king of a nation is like following in Jasna's wake because of the power that she wields. The power of her ability and her soulcaster in this world, especially in a world where so much food comes from soulcasters and like housing literally comes from soulcasters, like she wields an immense amount of power on her left wrist. And she has the money to replenish the gem she needs to use it. So she is an incredibly wealthy person in a world where wealth is literally light at night, right? Like wealth is far more in this world than it is even for us, because wealth is practical. You cannot light your home. Like, because we were talking about this with the flashback in Wistio's Manor, where the insane thing about this world is you literally display your wealth to light your house at night.
Yeah.
And like that's a nuts kind of level of wealth integration into society where it has so many practical uses. If your kids want to study at night, you have to have money, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so there is a benefit, much in the way that electricity drastically changed our society by allowing us to light cities at night. This is a world where the wealthier a city is, the more light you have at night, the more you are capable of doing things outside of, you know, and our world drastically changed when we started to be able to use nighttime as practical hours. It's also bad for humanity, right? Like we're not meant to be awake when the sun goes down, and our circadian rhythm and all of that stuff has been thrown off.
Yeah.
But we're probably more likely to get cancer for some reason because of the way that we don't go to bed when the sun goes down. I don't really understand that part of it, but scientists say that's a thing.
It's actually not science, it's magic. Judah, thank you for that super chat. My last chat not saying it's right, but from a power perspective, if the king and other nobles can't do anything, what could Jasna do? And I'm not sure yet. That's why this one is a big question to me, because I don't understand what kind of political power Jasna has.
But also,
what kind of influence.
Accomplish?
Well, she...
Hear me out. Say there's 4 lesser criminals who would love to be killing in this alley, but these 4 criminals have been killing in this alley. And Jasna kills these 4 criminals, and these lesser criminals are like, it's our alley now.
What do you mean lesser?
They had wanted to be... They wanted this territory, but they haven't been able to take over this territory.
Okay.
And 4 nights later, 3 women are killed in this alley by these other 4 people.
Okay.
What did Jasna accomplish?
Well, it's just 3 dead instead of maybe 6, because these killers, if they wanted to be killers, would be killers, but in a different alley.
But my point is, if someone steps in to fill the gap...
Yeah.
Did you make things better?
You'll never know.
Or would it be better to close the gap?
That is the problem. You cannot ever know because you cannot see both outcomes.
But we do know. We do know that changing the systems drastically reduces crime. We know that that's what works.
Yeah,
We know as a society that closing the gaps in our society is what reduces crime.
You are asking me if what the difference is between those 4 killers being alive and being not alive. And I'm saying you literally cannot know the answer to that unless you can predict different versions of the future.
But if those criminals worked for a boss, right?
Yeah.
Say there's an underworld boss that's going to have somebody murdering in that alley no matter what.
Okay.
Does killing 4 of his goons do anything?
Well, it is 4 less goons to commit murder.
But does it do anything But is it, though? Is it actually...
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
But neither does Jasna. And so her assumption that she's even accomplishing anything might be her just making some fucking assumption.
Which is why there is no right and there is no wrong answer in this scenario, because everyone's own personal sense of morality is going to be different, and everyone's opinion on what may or may not happen next, whether or not she did or didn't do it, is also going to be different. And therefore, it's just philosophy. What Shallan says is people saying a lot of words and talking in circles.
Guillermo, I was thanking for joining the nerds of the nerd table. I agree with Nerdy in principle, but I feel he is being too generous. I've read these criminals as more serial killers and less as regular thieves, but you don't know that. Like, we don't know that they're serial killers. We don't even know if they've killed one person. We have no proof that we've killed a single person.
They could be different people. They could be. But we don't know.
Jasna might have drawn in 4 people that normally wouldn't commit crime, but the level of wealth she displayed changed their mind because she was displaying life-changing wealth. She's displaying wealth that is life-changing to a light-eyed noble.
Maybe one of those people had a really, really sick child that wouldn't be healed unless they had money. And they saw the Soulcaster and were like, wow, we can sell that.
That's more money than I've seen in my entire life.
And that is the problem. We can talk in these hypotheticals because nobody's ever going to know. 1, 2, 3, 4, Luker, thank you for that super chat. I've always seen this as a form of cognitive dissonance and PTSD of the death of her father and her logical brain making an excuse and justifying it.
I just find that
I could
Brandon
see that
Sanderson's
as a
like one atheistic character being the person who doesn't have a moral issue with murder being a weird kind of choice.
Well, and that goes back to the pro-religion kind of deal, because this is the only character that is like maybe like questionable in that sense, and they're not religious. Because they believe in a person being able to make their own moral distinctions, and that people can be morally good without a construct of religion to like shoehorn their morals, and then yet she does this.
Yes.
Which is why I made the statement earlier about this book being pro-religion.
Seth Butler, even if you don't think the first 2 are murder, that's fine. But the 2 that she shoots lightning into their back as they are literally running away, that's murder.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but no matter how justified you are, at the point where someone is running away from you and you murder them from behind with superpowers, you have committed murder. That, like, there's no argument to me that it is justified to kill people who are fleeing.
Yeah.
Who are unarmed and running away.
Yeah, it's like
there's
when
no
soldiers
world where that is not murder.
That's
cleanup. That's so dark.
When soldiers surrender, you are supposed to, if you're a half decent human, let them live.
Yeah.
They surrendered. Okay, they're not gonna fight you anymore. It's really shitty thing to do to like kill someone who like isn't trying to attack you anymore. So
no witnesses, but that's what it feels like. Guess what? Guess when you need no witnesses.
So when is Shallan gonna die then?
No, but guess when you need no witnesses? When you commit murder. You don't need there to be no witnesses when you commit self-defense. In fact, it's better to have witnesses when you commit self-defense. You know what I mean?
Guillermo says, honest question, if it was clearly stated they were serial killers, would your opinion be different? The problem with that is...
It would.
How would we know that they were actual serial killers. If Jasna was like, those people are serial killers, the book is stating that, but how does Jasna know that? And that is what matters. Like, there has to be, the reason that you are innocent until proven guilty is that there has to be, like, actual evidence that these people are serial killers. And, I mean, sure, if, the book went through a process of, like, proving that to us, then maybe you can ask that question. But the book just stating that they're serial killers doesn't help.
Crazy. Javar says, how else would she make Shallan question her own morality if she doesn't murder some poor people?
I don't know. Judah, thank you for that super chat. I believe in women's rights and women's wrongs.
We need to move on. We've talked about this enough. I feel like we've gotten through a lot of different points. I think that I feel like I am been very consistent. People, the last thing I want to bring up is that people in the Discord were like, I don't understand why Nerdy is okay with Kelsier murdering nobles, but not okay with Jasna killing poor people who are criminals. And I think that for me, honestly, the difference is we see Kelsier kill a lot of slavers. The first one, who raped and murdered a child. I'm definitely much more okay with that. And has done it to multiple of the slaves under him. So, like, I sorry, I don't feel bad. Kelsier also does not think that he is the greatest person alive. Kelsier does not make the argument that he is a moral person. And the people around Kelsier don't sit around going, you know what, philosophically, I think Kelsier's in the right. They sit around going, I think Kelsier is going too far. That's what the book says about it.
And the only reason that Elend is spared is because Vin begins to change Kelsier for the better.
Yeah. Like, the book is about how Kelsier is doing some shit that's maybe a little bit too dark.
Yeah.
Because he's murdering people. And that's not a good thing. Like, that, the book explores that in a very interesting way. In a way that I don't think it's doing here, because the two women we're seeing the perspective from are so skewed perspective-wise because of the level of privilege they have as a princess and a major lady of a house. Who are murdering people who are in a social caste below them. Because they can, because racism allows them to.
Joni Coleman asks, what would Jasna have to do to redeem herself in your eyes?
She doesn't have to redeem herself. I don't think she's, like, the worst person ever.
No, I don't think that she has to seek redemption. But I do find her a fascinating character, and I'm interested to see how she feels about the things that she has done. But I don't think that there is, like, unnecessary redemption, if that makes sense. Nicholas Cardio, thank you for that super chat. I have literally no idea what that comment has to do with anything that we were talking about.
Okay, wait. Right now, 40% of men under age 30 are virgins.
Yeah.
Is that true? That doesn't seem true. So women are going out in public almost naked purposely are responsible for men attacking them. What?
No,
So women going out in public almost naked purposefully are responsible for men attacking them.
This literally has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Also, no, they're not responsible for that. Because that's not why they're dressing the way that they're dressing. They're dressing that way because it's hot. We live in a world that is getting hotter, and so women are wearing less. And so are men. Guess what?
And why don't men feel that they're entitled to
clothing?
Sex?
Clothing is getting smaller because the world's getting hotter. That's a function of it.
Yeah.
This
is what you call a bad faith argument.
Yeah.
It is, look at this other thing that isn't actually related and makes no sense to what we're talking about.
Women don't go out to get almost raped so that they can murder men. That's I mean, there are some that do that. And you know what? Some of the women that do that are awesome. There was a woman that did that in World War II, and she used it as a way to kill Nazis. And guess what? I support her, because she was a person who was using sex to lure in Nazis and murdering them. And that woman is awesome. Jasna is not doing that. This isn't the same thing.
Yeah.
Her intention is bad. Their intentions are bad. They're all in the fucking wrong. And she has superpowers and probably could have stopped this without murdering them. And shouldn't have murdered the two running away. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're good people. I'm not. I'm just saying that she is a princess who goes here to kill poor people and does, and then tries to make it a philosophical debate when she's a fucking princess who didn't need to be there that night. She wanted this to happen, and it did. She has all of the power in the situation, and literally because she has fucking magic and can shoot lightning bolts that vaporize human bodies. Like, at the point where someone has that kind of power, you shouldn't go out with the intention of murdering people. You shouldn't. You have better things to do with your time than killing 4 people in an alley when you have the power to shoot lightning bolts that vaporize bodies. Why aren't you fucking helping kill the Parshendi? Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Why assuming they are poor people? Career criminals don't have to be poor. For a number of reasons. One, because the power imbalance is that she's a princess, so she's definitely richer than them.
Everyone is poor in comparison.
I object there was no lightning. Didn't she shoot like a split lightning bolt at 2 of them?
I think it's like a light that makes them turn into smoke.
Whatever it is that she shot, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Elle says, I'm having a lot of difficulty understanding whether Nazi versus murder is distinct enough to celebrate one and condemn the other. Because she doesn't know that these men have done anything wrong before this moment. She just assumes that they have.
Yes. Anyone who was a Nazi did something wrong and was part of a system that was deliberately, like, murdering people. And so that's why I have no problem with Nazis dying because they're Nazis. Whereas these criminals, like, these people who attacked them, like, they probably had killed people in the past, but we can't know that. And Jasna also doesn't know that.
We're moving on.
And also the difference is that Jasna is rich enough to potentially have the power to make better differences, whereas this one person was making a difference in a way that she could by getting rid of Nazis in a way that she was able to because she wasn't a princess. I think a lot of it's
about oppression, right? Like, who is oppressing who is a big part of this conversation.
Yeah.
I think that there's a big difference between being the underclass and having the overclass continually oppress you and then use magic to kill you, and then being the underclass and killing the Nazis who stormed in and took over your village and are running things in a way that is detrimental to the people that you love, right? Yeah. I think that a lot of it is about power. And I think that that's the side of this conversation that is more important than...
Which is, Ernest Hill, thank you for that super chat. I have no issue with what she did because of the rules of their society. However, Jasna and Shallan are flawed because they suffer from the power of privilege.
I agree with that 100%. And I think that it is the difference between Jasna and Kelsier. Kelsier is literally a slave who now has power to undo slavery, but like Kelsier's goal is to end slavery of his people. Jasna's is so that rich people can continue to be safe, maybe.
Yeah.
Like their goals are inherently not equal in this because one of them is the top of the power structure and the other is clawing his way up from the bottom.
Yep. Blue Sun, thank you for that super chat. If Jasna was a poor Dark Eyes and this was a personal vendetta against these men, would it be justified? It really does seem that redemption justice only applies sometimes.
Yeah, of course it would be different. If Jasna
Does Jasna still have magic powers? Like, this is such a different hypothetical situation that I don't think we can answer that.
I think that if Jasna was a poor Dark Eyes and had magical powers and went to this alley to kill people, it would still be morally wrong, but it would be more justified.
Yeah, if she went with
unless they had like previously done something to her specifically. Like, I still think I would have a problem with her killing the 4 men who happened to be there, not really understanding anything else about the situation other than that.
Right, like if she
Jasna doesn't know that these are the men who commit crimes in this alley.
That's true.
Jasna doesn't even know if she's ended crime in this alley. She just knows that she killed 4 people in this alley, but she doesn't know if these 4 people are the people who committed crimes yesterday. She doesn't know anything. She just makes a big assumption, kills 4 people, and walks away going, I made things better, not knowing if she actually did anything. Yeah. That's my problem. That's one of my many problems with this, is she doesn't know that she has made the situation better. She just knows that she killed 4 people who were committing a crime in the moment.
Yep.
That she got them to commit intentionally because that was what she wanted to happen.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah.
We don't know that the situation's better. It's not a safe assumption, Pyre. She doesn't know how many people commit crimes in this alley.
So this is why we have trials with juries. so that we can present all the evidence that is known, because right now we don't know everything. Jasna doesn't know everything. You guys don't maybe know everything unless the book gets more into this later on and you know details that we aren't privy to. The judge doesn't know everything, and that is why, like, the process of law and order is a long and arduous one.
Let's move on. We've talked about this to death. Sides. Kaladin.
You got there.
God damn it.
He's actually Cal at this point.
He's cooking.
No, he's literally cooking. I went to the... You know how people
let him cook?
Yeah.
No, he's literally like...
No, he's literally cooking. Yeah.
He's literally cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry. Tien has another pretty rock.
Please tell me that this book has a "can you smell what the rock is cooking" joke, because that would be amazing. So Tien is like, look, this rock is different from different angles because of the light. And his mom is like, no, it's probably because of the spren inside of it. And Tien's like, no,
I think you're wrong.
No, it's probably the light, Mom.
It's probably the light.
Sometimes it is science. And this time, it's science. Spren, magic.
Uh-huh. God damn it.
No, she just gets more intelligent the more honorable he is. That's science.
Yeah,
totally.
That is 100%
easily
science.
Quantifiable. J. Eddie Maldonado, thank you for the super chat. Finally, I think you're just happy that we're not talking about Shallan anymore.
Oh, I had so much written down, too.
Oh, did you? Okay, we can go back. We can keep talking about it.
No, it's really fine. It's really fine.
You should make a video where you read that.
No, it is disjointed paragraphs and thoughts.
Did we not get to your thoughts? Because we mostly talked about mine. Did I?
No, I said mine.
Okay.
I said, like,
I just want to make sure you didn't feel.
I said, like, I started, like, I felt like I had a gut reaction in our reaction to it that I then, like, thought about, and that my opinion changed.
Blue Sun, I so appreciate the super chat. We can't go back. People will riot. We have to move on.
People.
We have to keep going forward. Kaladin is cooking. He's cleaning.
Oh,
Tien has a rock. No.
I said morality is a consequence of sentience, but that was about.
That's a really good line, babe.
It almost rhymed, consequence of sentience, and so it felt good when I wrote
morality
it
is a consequence of sentience is a banger. That. I like that quite a bit.
Thank you. It's what I titled the note.
Blue Sun, I really appreciate it. I don't want you to think that I'm being a dick. We have to move on.
We can also continue this in the Discord.
Yes, we will continue in the Discord. I'm sure the comments will have many comments about how I'm wrong.
No, but you super chatted, and we do appreciate that.
Morality is a consequence of sentience is maybe smarter than anything I've ever said in my life.
I don't know about that. I'm sure someone else has said that before.
I love it. Kaladin is like,
None of my thoughts are original.
My dad is headed up to the manor. And so he is like, fuck it. Mom, I'll be right back. And then he dumps the food that he's making outside. And then he runs after his dad. And he's like, Dad, I'm coming with you. If you're going to go face Rashon, I'm going to be your backup.
Yeah.
I'm
your second.
And so they go. And Rashon is sitting at a big long table. And he's got his like spicy man food in front of him. I feel so bad for the servants in this world that have to constantly make different food for the same meal. It's so nonsensical.
I know. Bonkers.
And so Rashon is like, there's a table like in another room, and Liren is like, I'm of the second non. Do you understand what the nons are yet?
It's whatever level you get born into.
But like, what does that mean?
I don't know. It means your parents were of that non, probably.
Oh, okay, so it's not like what color eyes you have?
No. This one seems to be rank as opposed to the light eyes versus dark eyes.
I really don't get the non thing. Yeah.
I like bread.
It's kind of like the Indian caste system.
Don't know what that is.
I'm not gonna lie. I know that the the caste system exists in India. I don't really understand it. And I'm not gonna sit here and claim to.
Great.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't understand what makes him second non, but he's second non.
Nepotism makes him second non.
Sure. And so he's allowed to sit at the table, and so food is brought over for Cal and for him. And Liren does not eat, but Cal starts to try and pick at it, and
he's like, wow, it's spicy.
Spicy. So Kaladin and Clarus have something in common.
Yeah, I can't.
You are Kaladin Stormblessed.
Yeah, I can't. Wow, thank you.
You are.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We'll go with that. I mean, I probably would have, like, died, but he survives eating that, so.
I mean, babe, you barely go outside when it's, like, trickling rain.
Huh? Oh. I was like, what does that have to do with spices?
Oh, I meant because of the rain.
I could survive a high storm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Babe, you got no meat on those bones. I love you. You're not the most durable person in the world.
That's why I go to the gym. Get swole.
Trying.
And
so Kaladin, Roshon is like, I thought I would wait until after dinner to talk business, but you don't want to eat my food. And Liren's like, no, I don't. Fuck you, bitch. Rude. And Roshon is like, I can keep applying the screws to you and your family. And Liren's like, you can try.
Yeah, good luck with that.
So Kaladin comes into this meeting being like, I've always thought of my father as a meek, weak man. But that night, he showed me something. He stepped up to the plate. And here he's doing it again. He's not blinking. Liren is sitting there, like, fingers steepled, staring Roshon down, being like, you want to fucking fight, bitch? I got scalpels. I'll cut a bitch. And so Kaladin in this moment is really impressed with his dad. He's having a change of heart about his father and about the power of the surgery and the education and all of the things that his father are, the things that make his father, and he's seen this ruthless side to his dad that maybe will come back later on in this chapter, and we'll talk about morality again, because Clarus and I differ on something. So then basically Roshon offers that he'll quit being the fucking worst if
he gives him 9/10 of the fucking spheres.
Yeah.
So all of it, basically.
Racism.
Roshon's in a bad spot. Who does he owe money to?
Like, how much money could Liren actually have?
I don't know what school costs.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you. It seems like a lot though.
Yeah, it might be.
It might be like nowadays it's like $100,000 to fucking go to school, you know?
Yeah, it's sort of like how in Bridgerton, they talk about 10,000 pounds at one point, and I was like, what could that be worth now? And someone did the math, and it's like $430,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, not bad.
Yeah. I was like, oh,
almost
okay.
Almost $500,000.
Inflation's crazy.
It is crazy.
And so so Kaladin is about to be like, fuck you, and Liren sends him to the kitchen to find food that is more suited to his palate. And so he goes, and the servant cook person back there who knows Kaladin from when he was Wistio's cook is like, oh, I'll make you kids food. And Kaladin is like kind of humiliated.
He's like mad about it, and then Reeler walks in, who is Roshon's son, and starts making fun of him, and Laurel is there.
This is Reeler. Reeler's a dick.
It's fine, he's not gonna last very long.
He's gonna marry Laurel, but he got stuck like a pig.
Yeah, so Laurel...
That was pretty good. I'm actually pretty proud. I'm proud of that one.
Laurel sucks now. She's officially been brainwashed, and is like, yeah, shut up, Cal. Basically just... I guess
Jeremy
it's like
Rimpo says
to Riller.
Dark eyes can only get so high. Are they like immune to weed or?
No, in the non. What? Oh.
I know that.
No, it's like redheads. You have to use more anesthetic. Or no, anesthesia.
I love it. No, in the non.
Doesn't matter. It's
Jesus
fine.
Christ.
It's fine. Anyways.
Oh my god. Can someone... What's the timestamp? 1:46 in this video. Okay. No, in the non.
Anyways.
Oh my god. Yeah, so Laurel kind of sucks. But she does... So Riller is like, bring me food, boy. And they go back and
like,
forth.
No.
Laurel also kind of is like, yeah, bring us food. And then Kaladin's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And Laurel's like, let's stop. Let's not do this. So they get up and go. And his dad comes and gets him. And they go get in the carriage. And
Kaladin's like, how dare you concede? And Liren's like, I didn't give him anything.
I'm tricking him. And which leads Kaladin to be like, wait. Dad, did you fucking steal those spheres?
Liren is like, well, I'm not saying I didn't steal those spheres.
Yeah.
And Cal starts going by Kaladin now.
He also wants to be a surgeon now. He's like, I want to be a surgeon.
Yeah, he realized
with all of that money that you stole that I'm going to have to pay Laurel back with somehow, but like...
Yeah, he's going to save people's lives.
So, Clarice, how do you feel about the morality of stealing from a man who has Alzheimer's?
Hey, if that man is Jeffrey Bezos, no problem. No problem at all.
I feel like people are going to feel this weird. I feel like Liren's in the wrong here.
Nah.
I just don't...
He doesn't need the money.
Linus, thank you for that super chat. Dark eyes only be plain naan, not garlic naan.
That's a shame. That is a true shame.
No, plain naan's great. All naan is good. There's
no
bad naan.
Bread is good. Bread is good, okay?
Ooh, I want Indian food now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. There's no such thing as bad naan. It just doesn't exist. It's one of the best breads on the planet.
Well, there you go.
So
how do you feel? So because Wistio is a light eyes, that means that he is a slaver. So now do you feel better about it?
No, it doesn't mean he's a slaver.
Yeah, he has parshmen. Slaves.
We don't know that anyone is... We do not know that Wistio owns slaves. Having people work for you and being a slaver are not the same thing.
No, but anyone who has... parshmen are basically slaves, right?
No, but slavery exists in this world. And so if those parshmen are paid... and are happy with the wages that they're getting, that is not slavery. They just work for him.
No, they're just happy to have a thing to do.
But again, we do not know that they are slaves.
I mean, they seem like slaves. They are used for mundane tasks and they're kept alive.
That's
but
not
they don't
slavery, that's an employee.
They don't make wages. They're just provided.
We don't know that. They must get paid somehow.
Why?
Because even slaves are paid in this world. And slavery is not allowed in Kholinar culture. That's like a thing.
Except for parshmen. Judah, thank you for that super chat. Liren followed the rules, but still did an oopsie.
Parshmen are not paid.
Yeah. Yeah, the parshmen are like
the parshmen, guys, I'm not going to lie. Parshmen make me uncomfortable. The whole parshmen part of this book makes me real uncomfortable.
They're like house elves.
I know. I don't like it.
Yeah. That's, I think, the point.
I don't like it.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Do you feel different now that knowing Wistio is a slaver?
No. Like I still think that look, and this is a thing that I find really uncomfortable in real life, right? There are a lot of people who take advantage of the elderly.
Uh-huh.
If you watch a movie called The Beekeeper starring Jason Statham, you'll see the problem with taking advantage of the elderly, and it is something that like I personally do. I have a very emotional connection to.
But it's a victimless crime.
It is not victimless.
Why?
Victimless crimes because they don't exist. Victimless crimes don't exist.
No one suffers because of this.
I think that Wistio was a man who was very kind and did a lot for Liren and treated him very well, and I think that. I don't think that this becomes morally righteous because he might have done it if he'd been senile, or if he hadn't been senile, but he was. And I just think taking advantage of senile old people is bad.
So the plan that Wistio and Liren had was that their kids would marry.
Yes.
But unfortunately, Wistio dying means that can never happen.
Yes.
And Wistio is not in a place to have his mental faculties to do anything about the situation, which leaves Kaladin's family kind of like out in the woods or whatever. And so Liren takes some money that Wistio is not going to miss because Laurel already gets a sizable inheritance plus a dowry from Sadeas. And so he just takes basically $100K from Jeff Bezos.
He does. I understand that there are benefits to what he does. That doesn't make it morally righteous. I'm not saying it's not something I would have done, right? But I also don't consider myself to be a fully morally righteous person, right? Like I'm not the best person ever, and I don't claim to be. But that doesn't mean that I don't still think that this is maybe not the right thing to do.
I am pro Robin Hood, so
okay, that's fine. I think that I can I can accept what he's done and also think that, like, it's kind of shitty thing to do at the same time.
Maybe, like, a little
Both
shady.
of those things exist for me.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with the, like, grayness of this is bad, and he did it.
Liren more interesting, and also Cal's situation of going to, like, choosing to go be a surgeon more interesting.
I just think that, like, the relationship between Wistio and Liren was a mostly positive one. And so being like, fuck, like, I would have gotten something out of you, and so I'm going to take it from you because you're dying, implies that it was always transactional in a way that makes Liren look like maybe not the most trustworthy person.
I mean, yeah, they were going to marry their kids. Like, that was, like, the plan. Johnny Coleman, thank you for the super chat. He already had the spheres on loan. They're his light for performing surgery.
But he doesn't want to charge for surgery. So, even within Liren's moral framework, that's not what they're for, because...
Well, no, because he needed light to be able to do what he did, so... Which is the thing you brought up before about the people's wealth is literally like the light that they see by, which is crazy.
Narandon says, well, we definitely don't know that Nerdy doesn't believe in ends justifying the means. That's not true. I think the ends can often justify the means, but that doesn't mean that they're good actions. Just
because they're justifiable doesn't mean they're morally right.
Yeah, I think that you can do... I think Kelsier did a lot of justifiable things because he ended slavery
that were morally wrong.
Like, morally did things that were very wrong to do it.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Like, I think that... I think that it is more complicated than you have to do the morally right thing all the time. I think I do morally wrong things in my life. And I sleep at night with them because I know that
we have
sometimes the ends do justify the means. That doesn't mean that they're good actions, right?
Right.
Kaladin changes the way he views his father here. Yeah. Changes the way he views himself.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a choice in that. His father took that choice from him.
Sure, okay.
Right? And so these spheres might mean that Kaladin becomes a surgeon. But they also might mean that Kaladin becomes a surgeon that does not have the goodness that Liren does about surgery, and that he does use it for profit. And Kaladin might become a man that his father is not proud of because Kaladin is no longer proud of his father. And so all of the attempts to instill goodness in his son that Liren has made might go by the wayside now because Kaladin looks at that and goes, yeah, but you were a thief in the end, so why should I follow your version of this? There are consequences.
There's a million what ifs.
There are consequences to imperfect actions, right? Yeah. And Liren here has decided that his son having the money to go study in Kharbranth is more important than his son leaving thinking that the moral lessons that he learned growing up were held by his father. And that is that he is weighing the value of his actions against the possible consequences of it.
He sees the incredible potential in Kaladin and decides that is worth more to him. And I get that, your kid is gonna save lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough position.
Linus Fiction, thank you for the super chat. Morally wrong things, thought we left Attack on Titan behind.
Oh my god, don't even get into that.
This is going to be the longest collective book club? I don't think so.
Well, there's not a ton after this.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've mostly said what we were going to say.
Yeah, I think Liren did what he did, and there's going to be benefits to it. I just don't think it's morally right to take advantage of old people who are dying. I think that is gross in a way, and sometimes you have to do a gross thing to take care of your family.
Yeah, or even the town as a whole.
Yeah, I don't think Liren is evil. I'm not saying that he's an evil man. I'm saying that he did a thing that's not great. I think that Jasna is not an inherently evil woman. I just think that she committed murder. And I don't think murder, it makes you... I don't think murder ruins you forever. I don't believe in souls. So, for me, it's not like... I'm not like Jasna's soul is tarnished when she goes... I don't believe in that. I think that she committed murder. And I think that she should do better. But, that's not... That doesn't mean that she's, the worst person ever. Right?
No, yeah. Yeah, making morally bad decisions doesn't make you a bad person unless, I guess, you're doing it all the time. Yeah.
I just think, I think that taking advantage of an old man who's been kind to you while he's dying is a little fucked up.
Yeah. Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat. Externalities, great word.
Yeah.
Yes. Penultimate.
I love the word penultimate.
Your reaction in that chapter was perfection.
Mm-hmm. James Ross says, Kelsier killed people that had families. Ham even talks about it. It's just guards trying to give their families a better life. Yeah, but the book doesn't try and make the statement that Kelsier was morally right to do it.
Yeah.
The book says, Kelsier, it's kind of fucked up what you're doing.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but I want to end slavery, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And that,
like, Kelsier acknowledges the darkness of his actions. And I don't have a problem with that.
And we see that.
Yeah.
There are moments of that in the book where it's like, James Ross was agreeing with you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it's like, like we like Kelsier as a person and as a character, but he did some morally bad things.
And he ended slavery for an entire empire. So, like,
yeah, that does win you some points.
Pretty good job.
If this was The Good Place, I think that you get a lot of points for that.
Ending slavery will win you a lot of points on the moral back end of life. Invisor, chapter 38.
So Kaladin is recovering in the barracks. He's kind of like in this like fever where he's like mostly unconscious. He sees death spren, which is like really bad because most people who see death spren just die immediately afterwards.
This is the part of Stormlight that I'm the most excited for in either live action or animation.
Death spren?
Which is Syl fighting
fighting off the death spren
on Kaladin's like decaying body.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, I cannot wait for fucking Tinkerbell with a tiny ass sword running around Cal's like strapping wounded torso, just like fencing with death spren. I cannot wait.
I love it. No, I love Syl so much. And the past, like, the 2 chapters where she's, like, stopping the storm and, like, fighting off the death spren, I just thought were so, like, charming in this,
I love Syl.
adorable way. I love her.
Ernest, I'll think about Super Chat. These books wouldn't be as good if the characters were one-dimensional. Agreed.
Absolutely. I think it is a testament to the quality of this book that we can have these discussions and that people are still having these discussions today.
And that the discussion is interesting, right? Like, if the book didn't provide some complication, this conversation would be very boring.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think the only reason this conversation is interesting, and why, like, nobody's yelling. I feel like we're all just having a, like, reasonable conversation. I yell a little bit for fun, but, like, I'm not, like, mad at anybody.
Yeah.
And it's because it's a conversation, and I like having it.
And like I said,
and I like yelling.
At the beginning, I was like, there is no right and there is no wrong because it doesn't exist.
No, but it's important that I'm objectively correct in this.
Which is basically what my note says. My note basically became less about like Jasna and shit. Oh, the one point that I wanted to make for the Expanse people actually is that I put to question the people who have perhaps like a worse sense of morality if they are perhaps drawn to religion in the same way that Amos is drawn to Holden in the Expanse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
If you need religion to tell you what's right and wrong, then you might not be a good person.
But that is one of the positives.
If it's the only place you get morality from.
Religion. Yeah. If you're like, you know what, morally, I don't actually know what's right. I need someone else to tell me what's right. But then ultimately, it is the best part of religion and also the downfall of religion because you have to...
Because the people telling you what's right are diddling kids.
Yeah. Anyways.
I'm not popular with the Catholic Church.
Can't imagine why. Cannot imagine it.
So they're keeping Kaladin in the back in the dark because everyone wants to come see the guy that survived the Highstorm. And Teft keeps checking on him. And Teft is like talking about these invisors, the cult that he used to be a part of. And he takes these spheres that are filled with light and he kind of like shoves them into Kaladin's hand. And he watches a little bit of light lifts off of his body, which you wouldn't see outside. But because it's a perfectly dark back of the room, this minute bit of light is visible. Yeah. And so Teft is like, oh, fuck. This dude has magic.
And he's like,
notice how he doesn't go, this dude is science. That's not what he says, Chad.
He doesn't say that this kid has magic.
The exact quote from the book is, oh, God, Kaladin is magic. That is in the book.
Verbatim.
Confirmed verbatim, and you fucking know it.
Don't go look it up. Don't read the book. Don't read the book.
Don't read.
Just let us tell you what the book says.
I know our audience is mostly male. You should not be reading. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, audiobooks only.
Have it read to you like a man.
Sir.
Be read to. Have someone read you stories at night like a fucking man. Nut up and listen to someone else read.
Nut up. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
You fucking airsick lowlanders.
So Teft is confused as to why him. Don't know, because I don't know what that means yet. We'll probably find that out later.
Wait, the Ardents can read? Is that real, Crazy Avjar? Are the Ardents allowed to read?
Damn. No wonder...
Are they like eunuchs? Is this a like eunuch thing?
Ardents can read, yeah.
Interesting.
Wow. That's why they're celibate, because they're not real men. No.
Well, that's why I asked if it was a eunuch thing, like like Game of Thrones.
Wait, no, I mean, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think that they are just celibate.
Exempt from the male dichotomy. Interesting. Okay. Ardents are considered genderless.
Ah.
Cool.
Okay. Does that make Shallan queer?
Oh, is she
Shallan is canonically queer.
She's pansexual.
Because Capsule is genderless. There
cool.
you go.
I love that. They're all non-binary. Line of Fiction, thank you for that super chat. The fuck you saying? Teft be like, shit, Kaladin equals X plus 3Y. Fuck you.
Damn it.
God damn it.
Oh my god.
Okay, so, Scar's watching over Kaladin, and Teft is like sneaking spheres into his hand so that he can heal.
Yeah.
He heals up, and a belief he once rejected as child of the Invisors. Don't know what that means, but he was a kid of the cult that believes in the magic
a cult that doesn't
exists.
The cult that doesn't exist anymore because of him?
He killed them?
Maybe? Question mark?
Or he was the reason they died? Maybe he, as a kid, like, revealed that they were Invisors, and so someone came and killed them all because he, like... Maybe it wasn't, like, a direct... He, like, feels the blame of it because his actions led to them dying, but he was, like, a kid, and so it's, like, one of those... It's sort
but
of
then
like...
why is he here? Is he here as a bridgeman as a direct result of that?
No, it says that he's fucked up many times. So I feel like this is like... I feel like he's on like...
Strike 7.
I feel like everywhere Teft goes, he fucks up somehow.
Poor Teft.
Yeah.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Invisors have something to do with the Heralds, but I don't have enough information to know.
I don't know. I feel like the Invisors are going to somehow be related to the Truthless. I think it's all going to be like people who believe in a thing from the past that's true that people reject in the modern times.
Okay. Okay.
Chapter 39. Burned into her.
Okay.
What's burned into her?
What's burned into her?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't read this chapter title. I'm assuming it's guilt.
Oh, I was going to say it's the image of that night because she keeps drawing it.
Oh, okay. That's fair because she can't let it go.
Yeah.
Because normally she's like, I draw a thing and I let it go. So, same thing. Guilt about that night.
Yeah,
Same
fair.
thing. Same answer.
She shouldn't feel guilty. She did literally nothing.
Yeah, it's
like not even she didn't do anything wrong. She didn't do anything.
But then she says
she was present.
She had a weapon and I don't know what that weapon was.
Magic.
Shallan can't do magic.
Oh no, Shallan had a fucking thing in her safe pouch, I think.
Did she?
Yeah.
I don't know. She made a comment about having a weapon that she didn't use, and I was very confused about that. Maybe that is a spoiler, but I was like, I don't know what that is supposed to mean. She had science. There you go. I fucking
hate you guys.
Yeah.
So Clarice, what do you think Jasna is doing not revealing?
She has crabs? Oh no! What do I think?
What do you think Jasna is doing not?
Science. Not what? Yes. Continue. Yes. What?
What do you think Jasna is doing not telling people that her thing's been stolen?
I don't think she knows yet.
You really think she doesn't know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't fucking know. Unless she can sense it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If she lets people know that her thing has been stolen, she now has no power. She's basically in a place where she is vulnerable. And she is a heretic. So maybe she just doesn't want people to know because it would be really bad for her.
I'm a little lost right now. Because you said that she was hiding a weapon, and I remember that too. And chat's saying that didn't happen.
What?
And I'm confused.
What do you mean chat's saying that didn't happen? Where?
She blinded them with science. A license to conceal carry. But she did have something on her, didn't she?
Oh, they're making jokes, but they didn't say we were wrong.
But Shallan had a concealed weapon.
Of some kind, yeah. That we don't know about.
Okay. She does say that.
She does say that. Yeah, no, Chad didn't say it didn't happen.
Oh, okay, sorry. I got really confused because I thought Chad was saying that didn't happen. I was like, did I invent a whole thing that you also invented and we agree on an invention of our minds?
Chad is making jokes. It's fine.
Cool. I got really thrown off for a fucking second.
She's got a bomb, actually.
And so yeah, she's got the soulcaster, and she goes into the palace gardens and is like, you know what? It's a good time for me to take that out and try it on. And I'm like, girl, what?
That was bold.
Doing?
Yeah, that was bold.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
There
are so many places where people might be like a fucking secret spy that is watching you. What are you doing? Do it in your fucking bedroom. Why are you doing it in the garden? Shallan, why are you doing it in the garden? What are you doing? Oh my god. I wanted to throw my earpods out the goddamn window because I was like, what are you doing?
She's traumatized, okay?
How do you do this in the gardens? You might as well fucking do it in the fucking dining room.
Well, no.
This is like the person that robs somebody and then like looks at it under the dinner table while they're sitting there.
She's a klepto. That like thrill of like maybe getting caught. She's an adrenaline junkie.
Oh my god.
That's it.
It drove me a little bit crazy.
Yeah, maybe not the smartest moment of a person who is studying to be a smart person. But that's okay.
She's 17?
Yeah.
I thought she was 19. Okay.
No, but we're going to pretend that she's 18. Because weeks are 10 days long. So she's of age.
The same rules I use for Game of Thrones.
She is
Every
of
year
age.
is 2 years.
Yeah.
And Missandei is 18.
Yeah, that's a yikes.
Because she's 9 when they diddle each other in the bathtub. What's up, George R. R. Martin? How you doing? How's Winds of Winter coming? How's that Miranese knot you tied yourself into?
Yeah.
All right. Eyes of Red and Blue. Kaladin gets up and he's like, oh god, it's been fucking weeks. My ribs aren't broken anymore. This is crazy. And then he goes outside and they're like, it's been 10 days. And he's like, you fucking liars.
Yeah.
Did my idiot bridge crew lose me and then lose the ability to keep track of time?
No, Kaladin, it's actually science.
I will kill you.
No, I was making a point that the science would be his natural healing process, and the magic made it go fast.
To die. I want to end my life.
In this economy,
you would be fine without me. I'm only holding you back.
I could not do this without you. Like I said, my chapter summaries would be like, oh yeah, what's-his-face tells a story about blood seeping into eyes above an ocean. And that would
this story's crazy too. Okay, so basically there's this story where in this country called...
Hail Mary.
What? Hail Mary full of grace? Marabithia.
Yeah.
If you commit crimes, they're like, you have 2 options. You can either die now, or you can dangle over the fucking ocean, and these giant crabs will come eat you.
Yeah.
But if you last a week, you can go free.
Yeah.
And everyone says that they want to do that because it's hope. Mm-hmm. And the guy, it's Sigel, right? Sigel, also super smart guy. While they're out on a run, Sigel explains basically the plot of the book, or at least Kaladin's story. Yeah. And so Sigel is like, yeah, so everyone chooses to go be hung up to be eaten by crabs. And I get it.
No thanks.
If I'm going to die, I'd rather be like food for crabs. That sounds good.
Oh, okay, that's fair. As opposed to just your body go to waste.
Yeah, I feel like, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, all that religious shit.
Circle of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ingonyama nengwenyamabala. Ingonyama nengwenyamabala. Ingonyama nengwenyamabala. Ingonyamane.
From the day we arrive on the planet. It's such a low key, too. I'm like, God, whoever sings this, I don't actually know their name.
My girl Cheris?
But like, well, no, in the original recording.
No, yeah, we did the original key. in Japan.
Oh, sorry, I meant the original recording, but that's fucking
No, literally,
shit.
Cheris was the girl in my cast who sang that song.
Yeah,
and I was on stage going,
yeah, it's fucking
for like 4 minutes.
I always try. I sing along when I watch The Lion King. I'm sorry about it, not sorry, but like that one is like I used to sing alto too for like years.
Yeah.
I have, I feel like my range is actually pretty decent in the lower register, and like that song gets breathy.
The day we arrived on the planet.
It's and blinking step into the sun. No wait, where is it? Oh, it's in the next verse.
You know how you switch verses, right, guys? You just go.
Yeah, you go to the next one. Yeah. Instead of the chorus, you think the chorus is coming up, but actually, surprise verse.
If you've ever gotten to sing that song with a 60-piece orchestra, highly recommend it. It's great.
There you go.
Yeah, it wasn't a song that we did every show. It was on the roulette wheel of our show, and so every time it came up, we were all so excited because it was our favorite thing to sing.
I get that.
Okay, so they give Rock a razor as a gift, and he gets really excited and shaves to mutton chops, which is my favorite choice. Where he's like, he shaves this,
yeah,
but keeps this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Full Wolverine.
Very excited for him to finally be able to shave. I also love that they're like, oh, we didn't get you anything, Kaladin, because we thought you were gonna die.
We thought you wouldn't be awake by now. So crazy how that science works.
There's some real sweet stew stuff. They're like really sweet over the stew.
That's fair. They make fun of Rock for it always like
maps,
taking forever.
The bridge runners are starting to have names a bit like the clones from the Clone Wars cartoon. There's Rock, there's Maps,
there's Fives. Yeah. No, I definitely. You know what? I definitely get that vibe.
Yeah.
Bridge Crew is the clones in the Clone Wars.
D. Bradley Baker will be playing all of them in the live action.
Please. Oh my God. That is what we need.
And so, basically, Sigel, they go on a run. Kaladin goes but carries water, and Sigel is this person that we meet in this chapter where they talk about the bridge runners and how they don't have shields because they're supposed to be basically fodder. And this makes Kaladin really depressed.
Yeah.
And he's talking with Sigel, and Sigel's like, I was really mad at you because when you were going into the Highstorm, you promised that you were going to survive. And then you did, right? And he does. He makes this big, strong, declaration of, I am going to come out the other side of this storm. I will be alive. And by surviving, you have given all of these people hope that they should not have, because they are like these people hanging above the crabs. They have hope, but they're going to die. Most of these crab people in Maribithia are eaten within the first day.
Yeah, there is fundamentally nothing that any of them can do to change the situation of Bridgemen.
No, because they're supposed to be fodder. There's no rising up for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is
it's tough. It's rough.
Kaladin looks into the pit of despair again and goes, oh my God, I'm backsliding.
Yeah.
I'm heading back towards that man that stood at the chasm and decided not to kill himself. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to end up there again.
Yeah.
And I get it. I've been there. I've decided to not be that man again. And it's hard.
And you have to continue to make that decision.
Yeah. You really do.
That's one of those things that is truly a journey, and I think is the most real out of anything. If Kaladin had made one decision in his life, no, I'm not going to be that person. That's great for fiction, but I think this sliding scale is just more real because people go through that all the time, every day.
Yeah.
You have to decide that you're today is going to be a good day, or you're going to get through the day, or it is going to be a day that exists, and that's all going to be just fine, because tomorrow there is another day.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm trying to be a less depressed person. It's really hard especially watching the presidential debate last night.
Yeah.
To not be depressed.
It is. It's tough.
Not to be political, but woof. Is it political to say neither?
Anything but. Literally anything but.
I have a political opinion, and it is woof.
None of them. Yeah.
It's a big old woof.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yikes. That's a
Linus,
yikes.
thank you for that super chat. I just want to say Chul Dung Stew rocks. Yeah. We didn't talk about Rock putting Chaldung in last week.
Yeah.
Really great. Really great shit.
Yeah, great. Michael Kioski, thank you for that super chat. Kaladin serves as real fodder figure to bridge for.
That's very funny.
That
That is very funny, Michael Kioski. He's a fodder figure. Wow. Well done. Good wordplay. Judah Canizares, Cal's journey through depression really helped me because I read this book when I had to make active choices to keep going and do things for myself. I love that. And I'm admittedly not in love with the Shallan side of this book. It's interesting, but I don't love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not, I don't really care. If all the Shallan stuff had been ripped out of this book, I would be enjoying the book the exact same amount that I currently am. It's not a negative to me right now, and I really want to start caring about her at some point. I just don't really yet. None of the Shallan chapters really move the needle for me in any direction.
Right.
They're all kind of just fine and good.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not a knock on the book. I just don't. I'm not invested in that story. It's particularly because there's no story there. Like, I don't feel like it's moving in any direction right now.
Yeah.
She's just learning. And, like, that's cool. And she's getting these sort of, like, basic lessons on how to be a person, I guess. But at least Kaladin feels like he, like, has, like, goals and stuff that I'm much more interested, and I like the Kaladin stuff a lot. I care about him a lot. Yeah. I care about Rock and Moash. Like, there are so many characters around Kaladin that I'm invested in. I care about Gaz. Not that I want good for him, but like I'm invested in what's going on with him in a way that I just don't. Nothing about the Shallan chapters have made me invested in what's happening there yet.
I think what's interesting about this book in particular is that depending on where you are in your life, it will be like kind of what you latch onto in this book.
Yeah.
Because I can totally see me reading this at 16 and being so into the Shallan stuff because maybe I don't have the life experience to really understand Kaladin's like feelings of depression and like overcoming that. And so I actually think this book is brilliant in that way where it does have something for everybody in a lot of ways, right? There are characters that depending on whether you're younger or older that like you can find things to invest in and attach to, like whether it be Jasna or Kaladin or Shallan or even Dalinar, I think, right? Like being a father, like that is not a connection that like I will ever have, but someone else reading this absolutely will, and trying to do the best for your children despite like but trying to do the best for your children but also trying to make the world a better place in a way that you believe, and that's a really difficult thing to do. And so I love that we get so many POVs in this book that are different people in different walks of life.
Well, and that's why I say it's not a knock. I'm not saying the Shallan stuff is bad.
Yeah.
I'm saying that like I'm not invested in the story there.
Yeah.
Or in the characters around Shallan, partially because I think she's going to leave them. But like, I don't think like Cabsel is going to be a big part of the book. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like, it seems like Jasna has to make it to the battlefield at some point. And so for me, it just kind of feels like time is being spent there.
Yeah.
And eventually the revelation is going to happen that gets the plot going over there. I'm just waiting for whatever the revelation is. Because there's something, Jasna is just looking for an answer to a question. I don't know what the question is, and I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, it's
and I think
kind of a mystery.
Once we get into that, and once Shallan is a little bit more into that, I'm going to be more invested. But right now, those chapters just kind of feel like Shallan, what's going on with Shallan, as opposed to like feeling like and she does steal the thing, and I know she steals the thing. But I'm hoping in the second half of part 3 here, we're going to get a chapter that really, like, sinks me into that the way that I am in Dalinar's story, Adlan's story, and Kaladin's.
Yeah.
Because none of it's written poorly. The book is just long.
Yeah.
And there are some chapters where I'm like, we can move. We can get going here. This doesn't need to be 1,200 pages.
Yeah.
Is a little bit how I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that this book is, like, really well done.
Yeah, it's really well written. That's why I'm saying it's not a knock. I just don't care that much about it, but I'm not saying it's bad.
Totally fair.
You know?
Yeah. They share some stew in a beautiful moment, and we get to chapter 41, which is a flashback chapter.
Of Alds and Milp.
And basically, Rashon and Riller dies, but they get attacked by White Spine that they were hunting.
It's Robert Baratheon.
Yeah, it's gruesome as well. Like,
Riller's
eyelid is gone.
In the previous backstory, Riller was like, I need to get my dad on a hunt. He needs to be more of a man. And then he takes his dad on a hunt and dies immediately.
Yeah, it's bad. And it's a tough moment for Lirin because, well, there's a few tough moments. First of all, Rashon is like, why aren't you working on saving my son? Mm-hmm. And Lirin is like, your son is dead. There is nothing I can do.
Well, but he brings up like his like he explains it. It's not just your son is dead. It's like if two people are equally hurt, I save the younger person first, right?
Yeah.
Which is, like how a lot of surgeons would look at it.
Yeah.
And he goes through the whole process and gets to the point where he's like, if there was anything I could do, I know that he is currently alive, but if there was anything I could do, I would be doing it.
Yeah.
The only thing I can do is make him feel less pain as he dies. Mm-hmm. And that sucks. I don't know what the consequences of this are going to be. Kaladin is there to help, and there's a moment where Lirin is hovering over his artery, over Rashon's artery, and could just kill him, or just let him die, and Lirin decides not to.
Doesn't do it.
And this is what I mean by, like, characters are complicated, and morality's interesting, right? I think that Lirin is not morally completely in the right stealing from Wistio. Mm-hmm. But Lirin is clearly not an evil man, because an evil man would let him die here. And he doesn't, right? I think that Lirin is complicated in a way that I find really interesting.
Yeah. And informs Kaladin's character as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Which I love. I love that it is all, like, related to each other. This was, like, a little bit tough to read because I was like, oh, he might do it. And Kaladin is like, I think I would have done it. Yeah. I don't know if Kaladin would be that person now. But it is interesting.
Jonathan O'Neill says, Nerdy just doesn't want a slice of life book. It's not that. I think for me what it is, honestly, with this book right now, is that the tempo of the chapters changes so drastically between...
they're side by side.
And so I think that it is actually a, like, pacing of this book sometimes feels like really interesting things are happening in one place, and then we cut to a conversation over bread and jam that has an interesting tidbit in it, but is mostly like two people talking about bread and jam, and it feels a little herky jerky to me. Where it feels like, oh, we're picking... okay, we're going to slow down for a second. No. Yeah. And that is, I think, that is what's making me feel the length of the book a little bit. Rather than it sort of feeling like it's picking up together and, like, these things are kind of replacing each other as the next most interesting thing. It feels like Kaladin wants to move and Shallan's... are deliberately slowing it down. And so... Yeah,
I like Shallan's story, but it feels very starkly slow beside the, like, Kaladin and Dalinar stuff.
And so I think that there's a way in which this book moves for me that is pointing out to me that the book is long, as opposed to the pace of the book kind of being consistent. And so as I'm reading it, it feels like the book is just flying by. This book doesn't have that feeling to me. The book feels like it wants me to be stopped by these moments and not feel that, like, tumbling pace that I feel like some Brandon Sanderson books have. Mistborn felt like a much easier read as I was going through it than this does. Other than, I will say, the middle of book 2 with the Zane stuff, which I felt had a similar kind of, like, herky-jerkiness to it.
Okay. That's fine.
Right now, I feel like the pacing switches between the chapters is pointing out to me that this is a long book in a way that I don't love. It doesn't mean that those chapters are poorly written. I think the story is good.
Yeah. And I think that those chapters will inform, like, future stuff.
Yeah.
But it is
100%.
Just a feeling in the moment. Yeah.
It's the difference between this book being a 10 out of 10 and, like, a 9 out of 10 for me. As opposed to it being, like, the difference between a 10 out of 10 and a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think this book would be a 10 out of 10 for me personally. But we'll see when we get to the end. I might drastically change my mind.
Who knows?
Right now, I'd put it at, like, an 8.5.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah.
But a really great ending can draw that way up.
Sure, yeah. Right now we're in like the literal middle of the book.
So the end of this section leaves off on an interesting moral discussion where Kaladin realizes that not only would he have killed Rashon, but he thinks he should have. And that he is, despite his father thinking that he is not good at murder or death or any kind of real like darkness, Kaladin reaches deep in his soul and goes, nah, I could kill people.
Yeah. And
you know what? I agree with you, Kaladin. I too could kill people.
But that is here's the problem of it again. If Rashon dies, who is to say that a worse person doesn't take his place?
1,000%. Or that his father doesn't get blamed for it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great book, guys.
It's really good.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about, which is fun.
What's interesting about me, and I think that where I think people might be confused is they're like, wait, but you just said that like it's not morally right what Jasna did. And I'm like, yeah. I still think I could do it. I don't think I'm a perfect moral person.
Yeah.
And those things they're separate ideas, right? I don't think Lirin is a perfect moral person, but I also think that Lirin is doing his best. And I think that at the end of the day is what all of it is. We're all doing our best. We all fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're all just doing our best. And sometimes that means making immoral decisions, and Cal kind of realizes that some people need to be removed.
Cal is the Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it makes him a more interesting person. Like, 100%. his hatred of the Light Eyes is a problem that I can understand. Because if someone was like, oh, you were born with brown eyes, sorry, you can't, like, you don't have these rights. You can't ever do this. You
mean like because you were born with ovaries?
Well... Yeah, luckily we're in Canada, so it's
for now
less of a difference. But yeah. Yep.
You feeling okay?
Yeah.
What's your high of this section? We do high low, her low, her high, my low, her low, my high. We compliment Sanders this bitch. My family did this for years because we were blended. And trying to get 6 kids to like each other was hard. So...
I think my high of this section is the introspectiveness that it gave me on on what morality means. Because I normally power through books. Book club has been a really wonderful experience because we get to talk about things and we get to analyze them. And I decided to put some effort into analyzing this chapter and the problem that it presented. And I found that really interesting. And that, I think, was my high of the section. Yeah. What was your low?
I've said it. I think that the pace in this book is not perfect. I think that, like... it's the only thing about this book that is kind of throws me off a little bit. Not enough. Not enough that I'm not really complaining. Like I'm really enjoying the book. I think it's great. It's a very, 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 very good book, right? I can't wait to finish it.
Yeah.
All of that. But if I have to say something low. Like, that's the structure of our show. And so for me, it is a little bit of the pacing. I wish that Shallan's chapters moved a little bit more than they do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. My low, I think is just the moment where Shallan just fucking takes the thing out in the garden, and I was like, girl!
What are you doing?
Put it away! Put it away! I was like, what are you doing? That's such a crazy low. And also, that moment was paired with the fucking Highstorm, Kaladin Highstorm, and then Shallan goes and looks at Fungus. And I was like, oh, that was just jarring.
But that's the pacing stuff that I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
One of the most epic things, and then it goes to like, wow, this bark is interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Ribbon X, I don't know if I'd be happier if I was reading at my own pace. I think I would be happier, but I would miss these like reflective moments. And I think that has given me a lot because of book club. I think that I am a better communicator because of it. I think that I'm a better like critical thinker because of it and because of book club. And so happy, maybe, but I think maybe less fulfilled.
Chris Buchanan says, how are you finding the split? Good. I don't think we're going to do more than this in a week after this.
We are 3.5 hours in.
Well, but that was because technical difficulties.
There was technical difficulties, but even still...
We started 15 minutes late. So.
Even still, like, we're,
And we had to take a break. We had 2 multiple-minute breaks.
I guess.
And so I think that slowed the show down. But no, I think the split's great. I think that 200 pages is about what we need to cover.
Yeah.
Because it is Pilk split, yeah. I think that this split has showed me that we moved through a couple books too quickly. And didn't get to talk about stuff. I feel like we talked about everything we need to talk about most weeks, other than we missed Rock putting the shit in Sadeas's food last week. Mm-hmm. I don't know how we didn't talk about it in the show, because it's such a great moment.
Yeah.
But...
no, I feel like this has been a good amount.
But this has been a good amount. I think that, like, I don't want to get through books too slowly, but I also think that, I also want to go slow enough that we actually talk about everything. I've really enjoyed the split so far. I think it's been good.
Yeah.
My high was definitely the side carry chapter. The failure of it. I really...
Just watching it all go to fucking hell.
Well, but, like, this is something that I complained about so much in Wheel of Time, right? Was, like, these characters just succeed.
Yeah.
And I think that Kaladin failing and is only good because he was analytical about why he failed. And he realizes that because he was missing the big picture, he screwed everybody over, right? And he fucked up. And it fucking fell apart. And people died because of it. And Kaladin carries the weight of that and also is intellectual enough to figure out what went wrong.
Yep.
And, like, that is great writing to me, right? I love when things go bad. I love when things fall apart. I want there to be those downs so that the ups feel better, right? So that they feel earned. And it's something that I feel like I never got out of Wheel of Time. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting it here. And so I thought it was great. That chapter to me was so... Watching it collapse and watching Kaladin realize that it was all his fault was awesome from a storytelling perspective.
Yeah, in a horrible way. Yeah.
And so for me, that's my high. My high is good writing, and my high is when Kaladin comes back with his next success, it will feel better because this was a great moment. And it was such a learning experience for him, and we got to watch his brain process his failure in real time in a way that really gave me insight into how he processes the world and how he's going to get better for future actions.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. I think, like, I like failure. I like death. I like these things in stories because they add stakes and they add weight. And I thought that this made the story feel heavier in a way that it makes it better, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I loved it. Loved it. And, you'd think it would be the fucking storm. You'd think it would be the magic powers. But, like, for me, like, it was him fucking up that bad. It was the thing that I'm going to remember the most from this week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed this book.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm really loving book club.
Yeah, so. And I want to be clear, like, we talked a lot about morality today to have an interesting discussion. I don't actually think any of the presentation of in the book is bad. And I'm worried that people might think that because of the conversation that I'm thinking the book is bad for how it presents it, and I don't. I think the book is very interesting in how it presents it. The conversation is just bigger than the book, right? And I think the conversation was interesting, and the book allowed for that conversation to be interesting because the book is complicated. Yeah. Not because the book is... I don't know. I'm worried about how I presented myself, but I'm always... Lately, that's all I can worry about, so...
No, I think that... I think that we had a good chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope you guys did too. Sorry about the double video. For the podcast listeners, you don't have to worry about that because I'll edit it out. But
yeah, so if you rewatch this, go podcast, listen, and give it a 5-star review.
Yeah, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the dislike button, leave me comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry. We must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is
gonna be Syl trying to stop a Highstorm.
She's so cool.
I know.
She's so fucking rad with her little sword. I love Syl. If you want to follow us on the internet, you can. I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
As always, do something nerdy tonight and get out of here if you're a prude.
Yeah, if you don't like smut.
Yeah.
So, have we decided that Shallan is of age?
Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus
I'm genuinely asking, because now, is she 17 or is she 19? I don't know. That changes things so much.
Someone said technically she's 23.
What? No, technically she's 19.
Someone said
that
technically she's 23.
Is
I'm
wrong.
not saying that they're right. I'm saying someone said that.
Well, if someone said it on the internet,
Christ.
it's true.
She's 23. Tithanisk said it.
Well, then why is everyone else saying 19 and a half? Okay.
Okay, 20-hour days, but 500-day years. So
20-hour days? What? Someone said they were 26-hour days. So which is it?
She's not 23. She's about 19. I don't know.
Here's the thing. She is of age. If she's 19 or 23, it doesn't matter.
I'm pretty sure that Ardent wants to get pegged.
God, I hope so.
While he plays the metal plate.
Here's the thing. Do you think he actually likes her, or do you think it's what Jasna is saying and that he's just trying to get the fucking soulcaster?
I think he has a genuine interest in her, but I do think that it is not romantic. I think there is care there. I think that he sees something in her that I think he sees a value. But
or he gets pegged and suddenly his worldview shifts and he's like, you know what, this is all that I wanted in life. I have seen God.
Thank you, Johnny Coleman, for giving us permission.
Thank you.
I think
oh my God.
It's tough, right? Because like I'm assuming it's war. There are boys in the bridge crew that are sucking each other off.
Oh, for sure.
It's just happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
especially now that they have like the energy of stew.
People are lining up to get pegged by Rock. You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
Oh, I think so.
No, you don't want to get stretched out and then have to bridge run the next day. That thing, he's swanging a meat hammer.
I think that maybe before you had a hope of survival that it would happen, right? Because you're like, I'm gonna die tomorrow anyways.
Nah.
Fuck me in the ass.
Fuck me in the ass if you love Jesus.
Yeah, and you know we love Jesus on this podcast.
It's the poop hole loophole.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I feel like Rock unfortunately is gonna have to settle mostly for oral in this case.
It's probably best
because at that
for all
point
of
you're
them.
just not wasting protein, right? They're doing all these bridge runs in the morning.
They only get one bowl of gruel.
Jerking off is wasting the protein.
Yeah, you don't waste that shit. There are some sick people who need food. They need sustenance. They need to heal.
They're all just jizzing in their mouths. What is our show?
It's like birds. When birds throw up in the baby bird's mouth. God. You're welcome. Or the stew is getting special sauce. That's what makes it so good.
That's where the salt is coming from.
That is Rock's special ingredient. Yes, that makes sense. It's like the KFC 11 herbs and spices or whatever it is.
Bye. We have to stop. We have to stop talking. I'm disgusted with us right now.